Communication to the children to take a trip, to cop out, to groove. This is a special question. We don't want you to smoke genetic and modified banda. We want you to smoke the real thing. One of the fuckers natural herb. Sweet. Some call it marijuana. Sweet. Some call it sesame. Sweet. Some call it dance bread. And some people call it.
Welcome to another edition of the Adam Dunn Show. I'm your host, Adam Dunn.
I'm Dave Jarnick.
And I'm Katie.
Oh,
look at you stepped
Adam,
on the
Adam,
and I'm Katie.
slow down,
Oh,
everybody.
whoa.
And I'm Katie.
Yes.
Here in the house.
Of
Hi,
course.
guys.
And we are all over the place today. We've got.
Oh gosh, yes.
We're out in Crestone. Is Adam in Amsterdam? He's just using a backdrop.
No, he's just
No,
using
I
the
just use
backdrop.
the foundation,
He's pretending.
monumental shitter in or pisser, excuse me, in Amsterdam.
Do you know the story behind that shitter right there?
That one.
Yeah,
that exact one.
Oh, that's the
That
one.
monument. That's a monument.
Greenhouse.
That one right
That's one
there.
of the
Yes, but
It's on the
did
map, and if you can see, let me duck out of the way. See the white at the bottom
Yes.
Someone's living in there.
and the board, right? So
Yeah.
they come by and they washed it out one morning, and a guy moved in that morning, and he was there for a day.
Can you imagine living in a fucking pissoir?
Yeah.
With a
Well-
side of, it's like,
Hold
He had a
on,
nice
though.
setup, let me tell you.
If Steve were on the phone, and I'll try to find the video, but we were sitting out in front of the greenhouse one day, and all of a sudden, I watched a guy on one of those bicycles with the big food backpack. Okay, that's their Amsterdam food delivery. Maybe it was orange, whatever it is. He's got
Okay.
Yeah.
food
Okay.
in his backpack, and he goes in that fucking piss shitter with
Oh,
the
with
fucking
the
food.
food.
So we videoed it while he was doing that, and Steve sent the video to the company. Is just like, I'm posting this on social media. He goes, you guys, and they're like, please don't. We're so sorry. We'll take care of this. And Steve worked it out with him. I think he got some free meals from them.
Oh, I bet.
I bet he did.
That sounds like a Steve. He's like, he just saw free meals. He looked over. He was like, holy shit, that's free meals right there.
Just the fact that he would eat from that company again just
That-
shows.
Is that
That's
really a
like the
direct
Uber Eats
reflection
of
of the
Amsterdam.
company, though? Or is it just.
No, that's
flat-
like Uber Eats of Amsterdam.
You can't unsee that, Katie.
Nope.
He went in.
No,
with
however,
a
I
whole-
also-
And he was just.
And he
You
wiped
saw
his
his
hands
hands
on
afterwards.
And he wiped his hands on his
you know?
pants as he rolled out.
So come on, you could unsee
Well, yeah.
that and order
know
from
how it
them
goes.
again? Never.
You know how it goes.
No.
Never.
So we also have, we have Terry coming in from the Balanced Veterans Network.
Okay.
Okay.
And we also have Danko on the wings.
Sweet.
And then who else do we have?
We
Oh,
were
we have
going to
Boris.
have Boris. No, he's sick.
Oh, Boris.
We had our one connection to some famous people, and he's not showing up.
Of course. Classic
Our one
famous people.
connection?
Classic famous
Yeah, what do
friends.
we need famous people for?
Well, let's just
total
say,
flakes.
well, he's very good friends with someone who has the Bully Pulpit every Friday night on HBO, and was all about.
Schedule 3.
No, he did not say Schedule 3. He said legalizing cannabis.
They don't know
Yep.
what they're talking about.
And
Same
so
thing.
they,
Yeah, no,
they
yeah.
don't get it. They think that. We won't get into it right now, but he was a direct person who could. I mean, I
We're still going to get to him.
I
Don't you
videoed a
worry.
rant
We're gonna
and
get
sent it to him and said, you got to play it for him. Okay.
There you go.
know.
Oh, now you know how to do it.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
I'm done.
yeah,
We're
show the
too
rant.
close to it. He's good.
We're. Go ahead.
No, they're gonna push through Schedule 3. It's not like I want this discussion to happen right now. I'm on the Adam Dunn school of thinking on this. Keep it
status quo.
Status
please.
quo.
Status quo. Status
Don't need to change anything. Just find the way it is. When somebody goes, well, where can you buy a legal Schedule 1 drug? I go, Colorado, New York, Massachusetts, Dakotas, where else? California, Vermont, Maine, Rhode Island. They all have recreational laws. But I
Right.
still don't know a state where I can go buy recreational Vicodin legally.
Florida back in the day, you could definitely do that.
Right.
That was the spot right there.
And my whole thing is none of this matters because I really represent the black market. We've reigned supreme. We've been under a direct war for the last 40 years. We've done nothing but get better at it. And now they want to change the rules. Okay, we'll work it out. Eventually, everything will run like the black market did.
Traditional market.
Yeah,
now.
come on.
Come on.
Step it up.
Get woke.
Class
Get
it up.
pot woke.
Try to
I'm
class it up
plenty
a little
woke.
bit.
I just don't want to confuse people because John Sinclair said this to me. I was John Sinclair's manager for 25 years. And about 6 years ago, John says to me, how come all my friends have now started using the word cannabis? He says it's marijuana. I've been fighting for that for 50 years, he says. Now, I understand where he was coming from, but the reality is if you travel anywhere in the world, except for some of the South American places, nobody's heard the word marijuana. They all understand hashish. And those people will take you to the people with the flowers.
Well, plus, if he really wanted to go back and look back a little bit, he'd realize he's just pushing a fucking racist sort of trope.
Of course.
That has always been.
Of course.
There was no marijuana before. You know, cannabis is a much more overarching description of everything, which makes more sense.
Correct. So. The problem is we're one more generation of die-off before we can make a change.
Well, it was kind of like they thought that white people smoked cannabis and black and brown people smoked marijuana.
It's the same.
Right. Exactly. I mean,
it's the same.
The hypocrisy is what gets me. And as soon as people forget about the hypocrisy, they won't understand how we got to where we were at.
With
how much better this is, even though it's still messed up.
With politics and with science, it's one funeral at a time for progression. That's how it works. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, oh, then that guy died, so now we can finally talk. Get to the next level. And it's just literally, people are gatekeepers in all these industries, and that's just the way it is.
Well, the generation is now coming of age smoking cannabis, and they don't know who Jack is.
Oh,
hey,
exactly.
They don't. When you say, yeah, we've had Ed Rosenthal on the show.
They don't know that.
They go.
All right, so now, Adam, it's time for you to kick back and listen because we're going to talk to my buddies over in Crestone who are doing an energy fair, the 36th annual energy fair, I should point out, which is pretty amazing when you get into that level of events. You're like, okay, only got 35 years of experience, so hopefully
you think you know what you're doing.
You think you know what you're doing, but somehow out of left field every time, right?
You hope you know what you're doing, right?
Yeah. And then say hi down here to Terry. Hi, Terry.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
We're talking energy fair right now, so you can kick back and listen to that part.
Or turn your phone sideways.
And then we'll get into the deschedule and reschedule and get all into the trenches. So welcome, Nick. And what's your friend's name?
Thank you. This is Anya Kotz. This is our producer.
Hey, Anya.
She's the director.
I'm sorry, the director. I'm the producer. That's right.
We have that same problem here. Sometimes Katie is a producer.
Katie's actually the producer.
Y'all are funny.
So
good to see you guys.
Welcome back.
Thanks for having us.
Those years go quickly. Those years go very fast. You're like,
and for those who don't know, Crestone is right near the Santi Cristo, the sand dunes, and we kind of became chummy when we kept going down there for Area 420 in Moffett, and you guys have a gas station and an actual deli now. So I mean, there's sort of a grocery store almost. So,
and if you don't know, and if you ever do get to come to Colorado, it's definitely worth taking that 3-hour trip from Denver to check it out because it's an amazing area. And when it comes to the energy fair, what's really cool about that is it is a very high vibrational, energy rich place. But it's all invisible and you can't see it. You know what I mean? It's not like there's no like oil refineries or any kind of things along those lines. It's literally just like ancient energy so you're like, oh shit, and you can feel it when you come into the. You're like when you get there, you're like, ooh, okay, we're here now. You know. So, anyway, that was my intro.
Yeah. Wasn't it the original? Wasn't it the original home for aliens?
What?
Wasn't it like the original home for like the people who wanted to let the aliens come land, and they used to build some things there?
So funny story. Shirley MacLaine actually built, this is a place where a number of religious organizations have found a refuge and a way to like build their spiritual centers as the only place in North America. So there are like multiple Rinpoches here from Tibet. There are different religious organizations from around the world. One of them, Shirley MacLaine, was trying to bring in the Zoroastrians, which is an ancient Iraq or like a religion that began kind of in the Iraqi area, and she was turned down
Because
because
there's no direct lineage.
right. Well, no, not that because she wanted to build a I think 4 or 6 story pink pyramid for the Zoroastrians, and that was too high a building limit for the neighborhood, and she got pissed off and left.
Wah, wah,
I don't think you guys
wah.
needed a pink pyramid down there anyway. I think
No.
Yeah,
It would be great.
Yeah, it
actually.
was
Could you
fine.
imagine? That's probably the only thing missing down there.
You need
is a
another
pink
pink
pyramid.
But to your point, Stephen Greer, who's he has been a pretty vocal person of UFO disclosure. He has been the point of contact for numerous U.S. presidents. He actually runs conferences here and does workshops here because he says that the UFOs and the aliens are more connectable and contactable in Crestone.
Of course they are.
So you're not wrong about that.
Okay.
Love it.
so. What the dates are? What, the 9th through the 11th or something? Like that?
So it's the 11th through the 14th.
I get it all wrong.
Yeah,
don't ask me on dates. That's for sure.
It's fine. It's fine. So just to give you a little background on the event, as you know, Adam, this area doesn't have building codes, right? So it's kind of like the wild, wild west out here.
We like that. That's the best
And
part.
we're fighting pretty hard to keep it that way because the state really wants us to have building codes and has continued to make it harder and harder not to do that. But this event began 36 years ago because there was a need to educate and empower people who wanted to build their own houses out of whatever they wanted to build them out of. And it was a way for people to learn how to use alternative building technologies from people who had done it. So it became like a knowledge base of people who really wanted to learn how to, build with HempCrete or build with straw bale or build with whatever. And because there are no building codes, they could do it here. And they could not only learn how to do it here, they could tour houses that were built that way already. So it's grown into, into alternative energy generation, high altitude and desert gardening, alternative healing modalities. And so really to kind of get the best practices of all those type of things in one place over the course of a 3-day event.
Yes. It's always such a great time down there.
It is. It's great. And honestly, thanks to Anya, it's who has a marketing background and has really upped our ante on our website and our organization. Like, it has really become something that's even more recognizable and well known around the country and the world as a a go-to for sustainable and alternative building and living practices.
Thank you, Anya.
Thank you, Anya.
Everything here is pretty unique because we're at the end of the road at 8,000 feet in the high desert. We don't have access to many resources that, people in cities have. And so there's a really big, community of mutual support and alternative economy stuff going on. And so the fair is really just like a platform to promote and educate about all these amazing things that are happening here, not just in Crestone, but in the San Luis Valley that we're located in, and in Swatch County where there are no building codes. So our hope is to inspire other people that we can really do things differently and opt out of the status quo and support each other and do cool shit.
Yes.
And it's cool that there's already, it's once the energy fair is gone, there's not like those people stop doing what they're doing and they're already there. And you guys say some of the stuff, I'm sure it's been, it's pretty easy, not easy, but it's fairly just getting people to come check out things that are already going. You got people out there right now setting up for, like, came in from out of state that are already setting up any kind of crazy things, or is it kind of like more next week?
So we do already have people coming in. We've already begun setting up infrastructure. We have throughout the weekend, we have building demonstrations. Not only are they talking about different building technologies, but we have experts in different types of technologies coming to show people hands-on how to use those materials and what the best practices are in using those materials. So over the last few years, we've been constructing a shed just as you drive into town, and with different sections of walls being made of different materials. And so throughout the years, we've been adding to that. So we have, a group of people prepping there. But throughout the year, actually, to that point, we actually have now begun having continuing education deep dives. So multi-day events that specifically focus on one building technology. This year we had...
we did earth and plasters, earth bag construction, and high desert permaculture. And we're also expanding into things more than building. So I think this fall, winter, we're going to do a hide tanning workshop. We've taught screen printing. So lots of different skills. If people want to learn them, we offer workshops year round. So people do come in from out of state throughout the year in addition to the fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, our town basically like triples.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Population.
I mean, but like, for example, the permaculture event, who is the teacher for that?
Jerome Ostentowski,
who runs the permaculture,
the Central Rocky Mountain Permaculture.
Right.
Yeah, in Colorado.
Which, if you were to go to his shop there, it costs you thousands of dollars to sit, to be able to take one of these classes. And with us, it's a few $100s. So we try to make these, access to these really amazing teachers accessible to, and for the event, it's free, it's a completely free event. And that's the whole point, is that, making this information and this technology accessible to anyone that wants to learn, without it being, cost prohibitive. Yeah.
Right. Did you guys reach out to Julian Brown, that kid that did the plastic gasoline thing that's on Instagram? He's all over the place right now. He's like, you ever heard of him?
No.
So it's a I forget where he lives, but it was like this black kid who's like put together this incredible thing in his backyard where he's just taking normal plastic, chopping it up, putting it into this thing, and pulling it on a vacuum and putting it through pressures and heat, and basically pulling out pure gasoline. And
Julian Brown.
Yeah, and he went missing for a little while, and everybody
was
like,
I was gonna say, how long is he gonna be allowed to live?
And then everybody was like, that's it, they got him, the government got him. And he was like posting pictures like there's helicopters flying around me right now, and it was like, oh shit, it's happening in real time. But then he was back, and he's online again. His mom came out and said, don't worry, he's still alive. So it's interesting because we've seen this kind of multiple times, whether it's a water powered car or the carburetor adjustments that makes the thing go 500 times as efficient, and then somehow they never makes it off the drawing board. So that kid would have been cool, just because I know a lot of people following him right now. So next year you should reach out to him, see if you can get him up there, because he'd be
send me who it is.
His name's Julian Brown. He's pretty famous right now because he is publicly putting this stuff out, and it seems real. It definitely seems like he's really doing it.
Wow.
And fully self-funded too, so it's classic. It's one of those ones where you're like, they could do all this stuff. It's like they still have the original light bulbs burning, you know what I mean? Like, it's the original bulb. It never fucking burned out. It's like, why don't we have that? Like,
we do have a guy, Ronald Royale, who's coming, who is a pretty world-renowned architect, and has done all sorts of, art installations and projects all over the world. But he now has he moved back to Colorado, and he's from Cannaseur County, which is just south of here. And he's gotten really into 3D printing Adobe structures. So he uses a giant robot that like spits out mud in these very intricate patterns and builds like pretty much traditional style structures, but with this futuristic technology. It's pretty wild. So you
already had the HempCrete guys out there for the last couple of years too, right?
That's what I'd like to hear more about, because when I went to the High Times Hemp and Marijuana Extravaganza in 2018, that's all they were talking about was it's HempCrete, and it was going to save the world. No, I'm sorry, this was 1998. Excuse me. This was a long time ago.
Skipped a disc. Sorry.
Yeah, I skipped about 20 years.
Missed a few years in between.
This was 1998 in Harrisburg, Oregon, at Condy's Redwood Lumber that he had closed down after he inherited the business. And I saw somebody made Nikes out of like hemp material and things like that. And it just seemed so promising. And then It
Well,
just
the biggest problem was, I mean, again, this is the classic in the hemp world, is it's all about processing. Like there was never anywhere to process the material, so people basically, the ones who did grow it had nowhere to process it, and then it just sort of like downhill, and then everybody focused on CBD, and that just killed the whole thing, because when you're everybody focusing on on just the cannabinoid, they forgot about the rest of the plant, right? And so all of a sudden you just like left all the stems, left all the herds, everything just on the field, like tilled it right back into the field, didn't utilize any of it, you know what I mean? And then that just pissed off, and basically the farmers lost their ass, and most of them aren't going to go do it again, and now it's like extra hard. The whole hemp industry got just really kicked in the nuts. And then of course the THCA and the combinations of basically people looking at fields of hemp, thinking that they can convert that into something useful, and then realizing later, like, actually, there's a reason we have hemp and there's a reason we have cannabis. Like, one is good for what it's good for, and the other is not good for that at all. And you can't just magically make it work, even if you have trace amounts of THC within the product. That THC, people realize it too, that you get hemp-derived THC is not the same. It might be, if you looked at it on paper, it might look the same, but the reality is just because of where it came from, the quality is just not there. You know what I mean? Like we see it when we're making product. So that's why a lot of the CBD products were like the gas station style stuff, where you're like, I don't know, did it work? Maybe. I'm not sure. Nobody's 100% sure because there's no definitive action. And then you get like, Mary's Medicinals, or a product that's coming from high quality material, and it's like, holy shit, that patch, like that worked like a motherfucker. And you'd be like, really? CBD patch actually cut through everything? And it's like, yeah, no, really, to the point we did one on the show back in the day with Bike, and Bike couldn't even talk. He was like, and he's a heavy smoker, and it was a THC patch, but still, he was like really, really high. So I was like, okay, the shit works when it's done properly, but when it's, it's all quality, right?
Well, HempCrete's pretty alive and well here.
Yeah.
Nick has a HempCrete.
I have a HempCrete room. Yep. It's really remarkable because it is super solid. And out here we live in the forest, right? We're like against the mountains. We're in the forest, so there's mice everywhere, mice and chipmunks. And it's actually rodent proof.
Really?
So because it turns into, if you do it right, it turns into like a type of limestone.
Sure. Yeah, it gets harder and harder. And that's the thing, that in Japan, there's houses that are like 300 years old, made out of hemp, that are literally harder than steel now, because they're constantly sequestering CO2 out of the air. So basically, like, they start off, say, if you could weigh your house, you get a weight, and then you'd weigh the house 10 years later, it would have already an extra couple tons on it, just because it pulled in all that CO2 and locked it up inside of the HempCrete. So that's why it's amazing, because most of the time it's the opposite, right? It's at its strongest when it's made, and then it gets weaker and weaker as it gets older. This actually is the opposite, because it's pulling in the CO2, locking it up in there, and so it's doing two jobs at once.
No, it's a pretty amazing product.
And the other thing that was super amazing, which I was wondering whatever happened to it, but there was a guy who was doing HempCrete products, and he was doing he was basically doing the battery, so he was making batteries out of hemp, and his concept, which made a lot of sense, was you make the house into the battery, and you make your roof into your solar panels, and then you basically feed the house, and the house is holding the charge. And he was literally just poking holes into the HempCrete, putting in probes, and charging his phone and anywhere in the house on any
That's
piece
crazy.
Because it was fully active.
Is that like the potato?
And I was like, dude, that's the future right there. If you imagine every building being a battery, and every roof being the way to charge it up, it makes more than sense, actually.
Yeah, that's right.
Absolutely.
Just think, if all the work that Adam has done in cannabis and hemp, this is the one thing that's going to get him killed by the government. Is talk about a house made of, you plug your phone into your house.
You just killed like 9 industries at once. You're like, no, don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah,
now you're competing. I'll go hang out with that kid. I'll go hang out with the gasoline kid, and we'll hole ourselves up. But yeah, the HempCrete is definitely the biggest problem. Is the production, is the sourcing the material, right? So it's like there's no real, like you can't just go online and say, I need X amount of hemp and get the exact same hemp every time, right? You get like hemp grown in North Dakota is going to be different than hemp grown in Florida. You know what I mean? There's going to be totally different vibes. You know, and it's the amount of herds and the amount of and the thickness, and so basically you get a lot of inconsistencies, which is what they don't like when it comes to building code stuff, because they're very much about like you must have it like this, and that's where it always runs into problems because we haven't got a standardization yet when it comes to hemp. Probably because there was actually times where there was no hemp in America, like back in the 90s, and they were importing it from France, like they were shipping over cargo, like fucking amazing, you know, tons and tons and tons of hemp herds from France, and you just think of what a waste of time and energy that is, because literally it must have taken them months to get it shipped over, and you could have grown it in those months on site, which I think is the key to the whole thing. If you can figure out how to grow, it's about 2.5 acres for every 1,400 square foot building, right? That's the ratio for HempCrete, and that's a perfect ratio because you think like a 2-acre lot produces a 1,400 square foot building. 14 square, that's like pretty ideal right there, you know what I mean? And so you take 100 acres and you divide them up, and everybody's got their 2 acres. Grow your own house, you know what I mean? I think that's the way to do it, you know. And then just bring the team around, and everybody.
You're dead.
Bring
That's
the team
it.
around.
I was like, damn, Adam's over
dead.
here just.
It's nice knowing you, buddy.
Well, you know, not like houses are a big deal right now, you know. Not like owning a house is totally easy, and everybody can do it.
Mark, can you see if Adam Dunn, the baseball player, is available to replace Adam Dunn cannabis when he gets killed? No? You sure? I mean, because it's a sports thing, you know?
I'm sure.
Love that.
Gosh, what would we focus on then if we could all just grow
baseball.
our own house?
Baseball.
So many cool things. All the sports you could watch.
So do
Mark.
you guys have any? You guys are doing any kind of things at nighttime, like bands or musicians
having any
or
parties? Yeah.
ragers, big
We are
ragers?
having a.
I can't imagine
Nick's having
Nick's
a party.
not having a rager. That's impossible.
Let me translate. Will everybody be getting naked at the hot springs afterwards, tripping balls?
Oh, there you go.
I mean, that's like a daily.
I mean, that's a Tuesday. Exactly.
That's a Tuesday.
We call that Tuesday.
That's a Tuesday.
Yeah.
On Monday after the energy fair, after we've cleaned up the energy fair, we'll probably go to Hooper Pool, one of the hot springs around here, and hang out. And you know, to celebrate not being at the event. Yeah.
But yeah, we have a Saturday night fundraiser after the fair. So yeah, we have a couple of bands.
Yeah, we have a band and a DJ Treefort, who has played. I think you guys have maybe seen him at some of my parties before. He's a great DJ who supports us and does actually our AV setup at the event. He also is an awesome producer. So
Wonderful. Where will that be? Will that be at the same area?
It's at the Cloud Station, so
Okay.
in town. Yep, that turns into a venue. A little venue, but a venue
it's
nonetheless.
cute. I like that.
And I will be
Crestone
bartending
becomes the
along
venue.
with
It's
another
just like-
person.
The whole, yeah,
That's pretty much
everywhere
Crestone right
down
there. Once
is
you
the
say it's
venue.
like,
Yeah, it's like right there. Right, totally. Right.
Katie, we meant to say when he said the population triples when Crestone Energy Fair happens, that means there will be 120 people in Crestone.
Yeah,
It's so much fun. Yeah, it's a spectacular
Actually,
time.
I think it's quite surprising when you find out how many people actually live out there. You're like, really? There's
Wow.
quite a lot of people up there, you know, considering.
Yeah,
It's,
it's like a couple thousand.
Yeah, it's a few thousand. Like, I mean, there's probably 2,500 people who live out here, but they're all in the trees, right? You can't see them.
You can't
Yeah.
see
They're all
them
kind of
now.
hidden.
They're spread
No,
out.
That's what I mean. When you go there, you're like, that's quite a few of considering, you know.
Yeah.
Well, they like to keep their numbers a secret, so you know when the aliens come and go, they don't have to, you know, the census stuff like that. So, what is there? Is there like some? Is something taking the story? Like, is there a new technology? Is there something out there we should know about? Everybody in mainstream is just talking about how AI is going to change us forever. How has our side used this new
Team
tool?
Human? Team Human?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
To
Yeah,
try to, I mean, well, we can't ignore a new technology, and
Well, you know,
just-
but we can though, right? It's like we're like the anti-AI, right? We're like put your phone down, get your hands dirty, do it yourself, right? Like, don't fuck on your phone, get, be a real human, right? Type of thing.
Yeah, I mean, there are some things that it can't do. I guess aside though from the 3D printing Adobe robot, which I think is actually like kind of cool.
I think it's
if
really
we can
cool.
figure out how to use that kind of technology to do something that we really need, which is to like build affordable housing as a start.
Exactly.
Why can't it do that?
I mean,
Why can't it just be a printer in the middle of nowhere building a house?
It doesn't need
Right.
AI.
if there is,
I was going to say that it's
Yeah,
already-
right. Well, and what's cool about that in particular is he can build a house in like a day. He can like build all the walls in like a day or two.
Yeah,
right?
he's
So
built some pretty
that's
awesome
pretty awesome. Yeah.
structures
This
out
is
here.
so cool.
And the cool part is they usually have all the plumbing and everything kind of built in as it's going. And
Yeah, well,
everything.
you're
So-
right. It's computerized, right? So it like just makes the little pockets for all the things
Yeah.
as it's like, blooping out the
It's
the Adobe. But yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of like the beauty of the Crestone, and this vibe is like we're showing people how to reconnect with each other, in a meaningful way to produce something beautiful.
Yeah.
And to be self-reliant and not rely on all the other bullshit, you know?
So-
And that's the thing. It's like I think there's a lot of events out there, especially in the like environmental world, that are like a bunch of people that sit in a freezing cold conference room, in some like concrete building in LA and talk about the environment, but no one's actually doing much of anything. And I feel like that's something that is really different here, is that like this is just our life. We literally are.
Yeah, we're just kind of showcasing what we're doing
Yeah,
generally.
it's
Like, this is
like,
our garden, this is our
we are
house. Like, yeah.
walking the talk.
Yeah.
No, don't forget,
so-
as those corporate people are in that boardroom in LA, they are also eating parfaits with blueberries that were air freighted in from Chile
Right.
with a
Exactly.
with a carbon footprint of the worst. Like
Right, and that's the other thing too, like because we're in the middle of nowhere, the amount of food, and this is also like a very rich agricultural region. So the vast majority of the food we eat is local and like grown next door that we pick that day. There's like many, many gardens that people, either run or volunteer at. Like I work at a couple of gardens, and I'm probably just in exchange for my help, which is also like, so valuable because I'm learning how to garden. But, I'm probably taking home thousands of dollars worth of like local, regeneratively grown organic produce every summer. It's just like a really, a lot of people say that like they make less money in Crestone by far than they have anywhere else, but their quality of life is like 10 times higher. And I feel like that's what makes this place really unique.
I love that.
Is that we really have found a way to like live really well for
Well,
not a lot of money.
Well, it used to be.
Yeah.
It used to be the San Luis Valley used to be like one of the biggest agricultural spots around. And
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
now it's
largest.
definitely it's less, but it's definitely sitting on a huge aquifer, like one of the biggest. And that's the part that is the invisible energy that you're like standing around going, I don't know, and you don't realize like right below you is just like a huge amount of water. That's
Ocean, yeah,
Yeah.
totally. Right.
Oh, the mosquitoes know that.
Well, the
it's
mosquitoes are waiting. Now
It's
now-
only for like a month and a half.
Oh yeah. So do you have every year? I would imagine that since people come up there and there's people that probably never been to Crestone, they end up like a lot of places. You get that like, I could probably see myself here. Do you? And you being a realtor, do you notice like every single year there's like 2 or 3 like never leave type people, or is that
Oh,
is
for
that
sure.
is that
Oh,
a
yeah,
normal is that a
definitely.
normal
Yeah,
occurrence?
and
I
like,
imagine?
people think that they can be here, and some of them can, and some of them can't, right? It's like,
That's a funny way to say it. People think they can be there. That's a very that's
totally,
accurate.
yeah. I mean, because it's pretty, right? And it's like especially when we're doing events here, it's like it's a great vibe.
Yeah.
But like
They haven't
also,
spent a winter
there's
there. They haven't
no-
spent a
you
winter
know,
there, and that's
like my parents, for example, right? They come and they're like, "Where do we shop?" I'm like, "That's the point. You're not shopping."
Yeah,
Like,
Exactly.
Well, it's
do
funny.
something useful.
It's funny because Amsterdam was like that too, where every time people came there for the cup, there'd be like 1 or 2 leftovers for like hang arounders, and they would if they're
Never left.
and it would be, but I'd figure them out pretty quickly. I'd be like, oh, so where you from? And if they said L.A., they'd be gone within 3 months, right? Because they couldn't handle they couldn't handle the deep winter. Like once they got into around January, February, they haven't seen sun for 3 months. They're like, I gotta get out of here. You know what I mean? If they're from New York, they might hang in there. There were certain places you're like, yeah, you might make it. You know what I mean? But
Yeah, right.
it was a little different. But it had that vibe too, where people got there and were like, oh shit, I think this is the spot right here. You know what I mean?
Well, and here though, right? It's like it's cool for a while that they're able to vibe, but then like the quiet also makes people crazy. Right? It's like shockingly quiet.
Yes.
And if they're not, there's like, they have to like entertain themselves all. They're like, there's nothing to do. And it's like, yeah, that's the point.
That's the point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you must see a lot of turn and burn situations too, where people are like they're setting up shop and they're ready to do it, and then reality kicks in and they're like,
And you like know who they are.
Yeah, you could pretty much.
You're like,
okay,
yeah.
I can usually tell, and no offense to anyone that watches a lot of TV, but like I can usually tell when I'm doing a showing and someone's like, "Hey, where does my TV go?" I'm like,
"Oh yeah, you're not gonna make it. You're gonna fail." If they're like,
this is gonna be an interesting experience for you.
Do you have fiber optics here?
Right.
Where's the FiOS?
Where's the what?
BIOS. Like the fiber optic cable.
Oh, there's fiber optic cable in town.
Oh,
and
in town.
We do have internet.
We do,
and
yeah.
Amazon delivery.
And Amazon delivery. We have
No way.
Starlink. I have Starlink. It's great.
Okay.
yeah, no, it's a great place for sure. And if you are in Colorado and you're around this, you definitely would check this thing out because it's worth it. And any time of year, you can pretty much go to Crestone and get an energy fair vibe out of something. You know what I mean? You'd be like, let's go check out a straw house and let's go check out that, because there's a lot of that going on. Like when I did Airbnb out there, and we got one of those old straw bale houses. You know what I mean? And it was so cool because when you got there, it was like it had like this little Widow's Peak spot at the top where you can go meditate at the top, and I was like, you get up there and you're like, yep, this is very Crestone right here, you know what I mean?
The meditation.
You climb up to the little meditation spot in the middle of your straw bale house, you know what I mean? I was like, all right, this is 100% vibes. Yep.
Yeah, and so I'd encourage people to go onto our website, www.crestoneenergyfair.org, to check out the schedule and all the events happening surrounding the fair. We've continued to grow quite substantially. We now host a number of many thousand people that come to Crestone, believe it or not, for this event from around the country.
That's awesome.
And it's cool. And again, like I said, it's free. And that's the point, is like we want to be accessible to people. We also
I'd love to watch you guys try to do security there anyway, not be free. Like, all right, we're gonna build a giant fence around the dunes. And we're gonna
never actually work if we
up
try
and down
to.
hills and like all the
No, it never works.
It would be a disaster.
People will just find a mosquito to carry them over the fence.
They would always they will always find a way. You know that.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Thanks, guys.
Thank you for having us.
So
We appreciate it.
looking
Yeah.
forward to it,
so
y'all.
We'll be seeing you soon, I'm
day.
sure. Peace
All
out,
right,
guys.
thanks.
Bye.
Bye,
Good
guys.
to meet you.
Bye.
Bye. Oh,
All
that's such a
right.
fun
Now
event.
it's the fight time. Fight.
No, at the beginning of the show, I was like, why are we starting with that?
Because we had to go happy. We couldn't
had
come
to go
out of.
No, I was
that.
saying we started with this, though. I was like, guys,
Nah,
no,
I know.
we can't start with the
Oh, you mean
low
Dave?
vibes. Let's start
Dave
with the
couldn't-
energy
Low
fair.
vibe Dave over here. He
What do
couldn't,
you
he
mean
couldn't
low
help
vibe?
himself.
Low vibes, Dave.
That is so bullshit. I'm just worried.
I'm worried
I
too.
let off
I
today
feel
with
like-
prove me wrong. Please, I want to be wrong. You want to be wrong on this. You want to be wrong on this. Okay?
It's
If
funny.
I mean, and
schedule
also,
3
it's
is
just
the
like,
way.
but,
It's
like,
funny.
stop
Big Dummy hit
supporting
me
them
up.
if
Big
that's-
Dummy hit me. He's like, you need me to come on there? I was like, nah, it's good. I think we're good.
No, I'll play the role of big dummy today.
But he was like, straight up like, yeah, we gotta
No,
we
yeah.
gotta protect ourselves from the THCA and the fucking Delta 8 or whatever. And I'm just like, dude, that is hardly.
He's been very vocal on social media about descheduling over rescheduling. I'm not finding. I put out a plea to everyone and every channel I had, and I said, look, it's not a hatchet job. Nobody's going to scream at you if you really feel that rescheduling to Schedule 3 is the way to go. Come on the show. We'll give you a forum.
curious, yeah,
Let's
what is-
discuss, because I can't see an upside to it, and I would really love to be proven wrong, because it's really looking like that's what they're going to do. So this is where we are. I couldn't get anybody to respond.
If Terry can go there and like da-da-da-da-da-da. Like we gotta wear a cape too. You gotta wear a cape.
Introduce Terry to everyone.
Terry. This is Terry from the Balanced Veterans Network, right? That's the one group.
Yep.
But you have a bunch of good things going on, so you might as well introduce the rest of them, because I know it's not just that.
So at Balanced Balanced Veterans Network. We're a nonprofit organization. We educate, advocate, and support alternative healings for all of our veterans. We have 5 pillars. One of them's Operation 1620, where we pay for the MMJ certification cards for our veterans in the legal states that have medical. We go around to DAVs, VFWs. We teach our veterans how to grow cannabis. Cincy Seeds really helps us out. Jennifer over there, she gives us all the seeds to hand out to our veterans to grow. And we just get them on the right path to growing their own medicines. Then we have Project Triangle, which we do the same thing as cannabis. We teach our veterans how to grow mushrooms, how to use them. We explain to them like a 12-week microdose program. So that's Project Triangle. And then we have a movement pillar where after you find your healing or after you come back from out of country on an ayahuasca journey, we want to give the veterans a place to get out and exercise and get moving to tie in all the medicine that they've been taking and stuff. So
That's awesome.
Brilliant. Yeah, I was
wonderful.
like screaming in my head at you. It's wonderful. Every part of it.
And we also,
I'm Katie.
and we
Nice
also
to
get,
meet you.
nice to meet you too. And we also go down to Washington, D.C. 4 times a year to advocate for our plant-based medicines. We go down there with Last Prisoner Project, and we go down there for with SSDP, Students for Sensible Drug Policy. They really help us out, and they organize a bunch of stuff down there, and we just show up and we go talk to senators and congressmen and stuff like that. So
That's really important.
Yeah, and so that's what I was saying you really would you got the perfect sort of platform there to bring forward exactly what the message that we're trying to push, which is got to keep home grow alive. Like, you cannot let that get killed, because that's the number one thing that the MSOs are trying to gun for, and that's the problem, is that you get the wrong people not seeing how important that is. And if that gets taken out, because there are places that has happened, and whenever every one of those places is depressed in the sense of like the quality of the cannabis in that area, because it's all being run by people who don't give a fuck and they're looking for profits, and it's exact opposite what you guys are trying to do, which is deliver, get people quality medicine.
This is a brilliant,
affordable or free, really it should be. I mean, free is, especially when it comes to cannabis, like, and mushrooms too. Like, you can grow your
own.
I mean, when one guy can grow enough mushrooms for 20 guys, you know what I mean, or 40 guys, or 50 guys even. It's very extra dimensional when it comes to how easy it is to help people out when you want to. And with cannabis, same thing. You can get like 1 or 2 people that really know what they're doing, and they can take care of a whole community, a whole bunch of people. You know what I mean? But if they take away home growing, we really puts us in a bad position where the last thing you want to do is have vets going to dispensaries to get crappy weed that's been sprayed with a bunch of bullshit, and you know what I mean, is lifeless.
Well, not only that, it's once that veteran finds that strain that works for him, I want him to be able to have access to that strain years down the road. Because this isn't, there's, as our executive director always says, there's a place for Cheech and Chong, but there's also a place for the medicine. And once they find that medicine that really heals them, they need to have access to that every day. So
yeah. Well, plus it's so individual that it's like, there's no way that someone from the outside can tell you what you need. You have to figure it out yourself, because like, that's the mistake a lot of people make. They're like, oh, this one is for sleep, and this one is for this, and this one. And it's like, I don't know, dude. You never know, because like, you give somebody a haze variety, and they're either amped up like crazy from that, but not isn't always like that. Some people, they shut down because it's so strong. They almost go into the opposite effect. They're just like, they don't talk, they don't say nothing. They're not amped at all. They're actually like introverted at that moment because it's so intense for them in a different way. So it's very, very individual, and like literally strain to strain, or, plant to plant, person to person, harvest to harvest. There's all those different combinations, and you could have the same strain, different harvest, different effect. You know what I mean? It could be, and that person, if they're growing it, they benefit double, because they not only get access to the right medicine, but since they're growing it, they've got that connection to the plant, and they've also taken, slowed down in their life a little bit and focused on something else instead of whatever other bullshit they're dealing with. You know what I mean? So it's like there's a win-win for everybody.
Well, and plus, like the older veterans, one of our big sayings is horticulture is therapy. It gives that veteran something to look forward to get up, to go down in his garden, to, sit with his plants for a while and really de-stress. So that's another thing that we really push, that it's therapeutic for the veteran to grow their own plants also.
Yeah, hugely.
Yeah, it's good for your nervous system. Absolutely. This is such a great approach.
What do the legislators say that you speak with about?
Yeah, are they receptive?
Do they hear? I mean, do they understand the difference between a pharmaceutical medicine and plant medicine?
Well, they understand because they're not stupid.
Yeah.
They're the government. They don't care though. But if enough people get down there knocking on their doors, and they'll really start understanding that we're not going away. That's one of our executive director. His name's CJ. His whole life is home grow. So every topic that we go to down there, it's something about home grow. So that's very on our forefront. So
that's huge.
That's wonderful.
And I have to meet CJ anyway because that's what I've been told from both Andy and from Jennifer. I was like, yeah, it seems like the guy.
Yeah, he's a really good guy. He's very knowledgeable, and he's out there fighting a good fight, and he's been doing it since 2017 too. So
that's wonderful. Thank you all.
So when you go down on this next trip, you said is next, like you're going to go on the 8th or something like that, you were saying?
We're going down the 27th, 28th, and 29th to Washington.
Of next month?
September, yes.
Yeah, okay, cool. Okay, so you got a little bit of time in between. Well, hopefully no major changes have happened since things are going. So it's so crazy how, like, we had a quiet moment there for a bit, like where I was like, oh, okay, we're going to kick the can down the road. Everybody was like, maybe we'll hear something. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it's like back on again. And who knows? We'll see how quickly they can make moves. Because unfortunately, when they say things, you kind of already know that it's past a certain point, or else they would never have said it like they said it. You know what I mean? So I'm a little nervous. Mm-hmm. Like I had that moment where I was like, "Oh shit, it's gonna happen!" Like, "Oh fuck, this is fucked," because again, like once I heard $1 million dinners from Trulieve or whatever with the dinner, $1 million plates. And having benefits, I was like, for it, I was like, oh shit, that's gonna be a rough one to try to compete with, because like we were saying earlier, lobbyists are the biggest fucking pieces of shit in this world right now.
What is like, Trulieve's upside though? Because
I mean,
they're MSO. Their upside is that they get their 280E back and they get their bullshit.
But we're on some
and they don't want
we've just assumed that reclassification to Schedule 3 would anyway allow the industry as we know it to continue.
See, that's where I wanted to get you guys' opinion, because after I left Colorado, I watched a couple of Adam's podcasts, and you guys were talking about this, and I figured if there's something that I'm missing, I want to bring it up when I go down there. So that's why I wanted to come on and have a discussion, play the devil's advocate, and see if there's anything that I'm missing. But I seriously don't think that the industry is going to change at all. I don't see the states giving up the $4.49 billion in tax revenue that they collected in 2024. I don't think they're going to let the pharmaceutical industry take that from them. So we'll always have the setup that we have now. And plus, like you said, Truly was at $1 million a plate dinner. Do you think they're really going to allow the government to, make the industry that they poured billions of dollars to just disappear?
I agree with what you said, and I'm sure that Trulieve, at least I hope they believe that they'll actually be able to continue on just with no 280E. We had on Anthony Minetti. He's a pharmacy owner and a dispensary owner, and I just have a difficult time reconciling. We keep let's just not call it cannabis for a second, okay? Let's just call it a new pharmaceutical. And if a new pharmaceutical right now is going to be controlled by big pharma, why would they ever let you grow the medicine that they would have a financial responsibility to protect their corporate shareholders by making sure you can't do that at home to increase their position in the market? That's like, they're like, there's some business word for it. Like, they have to do that. It's what they have to do, being a corporation.
For their shareholders. Yeah, they have to.
They have to.
Bottom, yeah.
So they will spend gajillions to end home grow because it is a Schedule III controlled substance that is regulated by a physician. And then I'll just take it a step further, and then you got the floor. I helped physicians bring many tens of thousands of patients into the Colorado program, okay, back in from 2009 to 2013. And the only reason the docs I worked with were doing what they were doing is because in Colorado, it's a recommendation. It's not a prescription. And they would all say, and some of them were conservative and some of them were very liberal, that smoking anything is bad. Bad, bad, bad. And if it was only, if they had to give a prescription for smoking, they didn't think they could and still maintain their license. So that's where I see them going. The pharmaceuticals they're horrible. They're horrible companies, and they're going to do everything they can to protect it.
Well, I think what they're going to, I mean, I think what the beginning, what they'll probably do is they'll probably see, like, no, don't worry about it. We're only going to be doing these aerosol spray deals and these little pill things. And you guys, we're not going to touch your thing. But as it gets tight, I think as it goes down the road, again, you're really going to eliminate any medical programs because those people can't even use the word medical anymore because all of a sudden they're stepping on different, like, you can't say medical. If they, okay, I got to come up with a whole new genre, or something. And so I think they could slowly pull it out away from, because again, like we said, they're always looking for how to make more money. And the first thing you do is get rid of all your competition because that's how you make more money. And then the second thing you do is, skimp on your quality, which is what they love to do. And that's how they make even more money. And then, we're back to where we've seen all these other companies drive the shit into the ground. So it's a little it's a little scary.
I agree with you 100%. And it already says in the bill that, so for an example, if I want the VA to pay for my cannabis through the insurance, I would either have to get it in a pill form, an inhaler, or a bomb. So if you want the insurance to pay for it, you're going to have to get your cannabis those 3 ways. But I still see that there's going to be a recreational and a regular dispensary. I think the worst for the dispensaries is they might have to put a pharmacist in there. Right.
That's what I was thinking.
Other than that, and that's what I talked to 2 MSOs because they help us out also. And that's what they were saying. That's what they're bracing for on this. Okay. So,
but then I guess wouldn't you, just having a pharmacist on call is one thing, but the other guy that was on the show, Tony, he has to have a physical separation. He can't have like it all under one roof just because. So I mean, until they get to that point, I mean, maybe yes, if they were to enact everything and say you have to do it, but at the same time, his paperwork was so outrageous every night to shut down his place that everything had to be done. I mean, it's like we're lucky because people in the cannabis industry understand having 36 cameras on you at all times and being like, in a fucking, it's like you're in a casino or something or moving money around so we're used to that. That's not a big problem. The difficulty is when you start adding government paperwork on top of the actual stuff you're dealing with right now. Like, how complicated it is. Like, it's like hand somebody a new form here's 27 new forms to deal with, and you're only got that one guy. If you only have one guy, then that means he has to be there all the time. You could never not be open. So you have to have 2 guys. Now you're paying 2 pharmacists. That's big money right there. Because those guys are not going to be cheap. They're going to be charging you big money. So you're adding to the cost. So a lot of these things are just very weird and not very cost effective, and it's going to be interesting to see how people balance it.
Let's ask the congressman or the the senators, whoever you speak with. I think their argument is going to be, It's a new Schedule 3 drug. It's much easier to just add it to a pharmacy's list than it is to have a dispensary that dispenses a single Schedule 3 drug, which there is, Tony clued us into it, there is no legal provision for that. Right now, if it went Schedule 3, he goes, you couldn't sell it at a dispensary. They would all have to shut down. It would be like they were selling Vicodin or Oxycontin.
But you got to think also, we're selling a Schedule 1 drug now,
right?
And
Yes.
nobody's beating down the door.
Correct.
So if it switches to a Schedule 3 drug, I think that I'm almost positive that nothing's going to change. Now, 5 years down the road, people are looking around like, oh, I'm getting shorted here, or the state's getting shorted, or the pharmaceutical company's getting shorted. We might have to deal with it again, but I don't see anything changing for recreational or dispensaries when this goes through.
Okay, this might be a stretch. Sometimes I like to make these little weird.
Go,
I love
go,
analogies,
go.
but when I was 15, right, I felt invincible because I couldn't get in trouble in my mind, right? Oh, I'm 15, I can do whatever. I go out, fucking do that. When I got my license, I had a DUI when I was 16, right, already, like out of the gate, like within 6 months of getting my driver's license, I was in trouble with a potential DUI. I actually somehow got out of it, but it was like, that's how quickly you can get in trouble legally because you have that little stupid fucking license. So I think the problem is Schedule 1. There is no rules because the rules are you're in trouble if you get in trouble doing this. But there's no like internal bullshit that we have to deal with. But when you get into the legal side, now there is a lot of protocol that you have to follow that are being watched. You know what I mean? So when you're dealing with Schedule 3 compared to dealing with the thing they don't have anything to do with, right, is like now you got the government in your all up in you, telling you how to sell this product or telling you how to distribute this product or telling you how to grow this product. And we know for a fact they don't know shit. Like they have no clue what they're doing. So we're not going to benefit by that in any way, shape, or form. It's only going to hold us back. I think, this is all my own opinion, so don't take this as any fact. But
I think we just make a lot of assumptions when we're making it seem okay for us. Right? We assume they're going to leave us alone. We assume dispensaries are going to stay open. We assume they won't close the $5.8 billion
the difference
industry.
right now compared to what's going to happen is they don't have it's against the law for them to take any money right now to use that money to go against cannabis people. If they have, all of a sudden they're in charge,
right,
and they have the funding, and they're like, hey, guess what? We have to go after these people because we have all this extra money. We got all these guys ready to go. And, we are now the ATFM or the ATF.
No, if it was the ATFC, we'd be fine with it. That would be descheduling.
True that, yeah, I guess.
That would be complete descheduling. We're great. But it's not that. You don't get alcohol
but they'll get financing from government to
of course.
go against cannabis. And they're already talking about it. They're already saying, we're going to get extra money. And it's like, what? You guys you don't have any money right now. So that's the reason they're not touching
You're
anybody.
talking about them circumventing Rohrabacher-Farr. Exactly. So if they could fund it internally, then Rohrabacher-Farr doesn't apply because they're funded, right? Yeah. That's what it means.
That's the part that gets scary is like they run out of things to sort of not pay attention to for a while. They're like, hey, guess what? We have to pay attention to this now because, so, and of course, go ahead.
But that's in a perfect world. That's if the government was.
I was going to say, this is in a well-oiled machine, what we're talking about. This is very quickly for any of this to move.
And the government's not honest. And there's so much money in the cannabis world. Do you think the big MSOs will just roll over and be like, come on. It's a Schedule 3 and I want to close all my operations and see you guys later.
Thanks.
Well, I mean, I gotta say then, if you're making that comparison, they're a tiny.
I see half of them shutting down.
They're a pimple to the pharmaceutical industry, and the pharmaceutical industry will own everything.
But you're missing out on that one key component: the states. The states make a lot. Like California itself made $1 billion off of cannabis taxes in 2024. Michigan made $500 million. Maryland made $784 million. Do you really think they're going to let that money go?
Nope.
I'm
with
just
the
saying,
states
I agree
and
with
the
you.
dispensaries.
You're incredibly logical, but that's when we let our guard down. We're going, of course it's logical our government will do that. Whoa!
Yeah.
Well, I think also the thing is that it will, like, if you compare now compared to like 2012 or 14 or something, you wanted to start a dispensary back then, you could pull it together, you know, get a couple $100,000 with your friends and get a license, and you could do something. Now that ain't gonna happen. Now you know you're looking at a couple million, you need $5 million to start with, and even that is probably low balling it. And you need, you know, there's so many things, and so this will just step that into the stratosphere where it's like, no, you need 25 million, because now it's just MSO versus MSO, hardly any mom and pa's left. So now we've got these big dogs all fighting over this whatever amount of cannabis that's out there, and if you have. That's when you do have more home growers growing, because more people are like, fuck those guys, we're growing this. And now that's the option. That's like, oh, this is the time we go and bust those people. So I just feel like it's inevitable that will be the battle. It'll be the MSOs versus the home growers. And it's terrible because we don't have the budget that they have, and we don't have our hands in the cops' back pocket, and we're not financing them and giving them millions of dollars every year. So of course they're going to go on their side, and they're going to go, okay, you know what? Shut these guys down. Take all the grow shops out. We don't need grow shops. Like in Holland, grow shops are illegal in Holland. You can't even have a grow shop in Holland. In the place that invented grow shops, technically, you're not even allowed to have them there. Because the thing is, if you grow, so the thing is, I sell you lights in Holland, right? And you have the receipt. You bought 50 lights off of me. Then you get busted. Cops find the receipt. I'm part of your deal now because I willingly sold you lights, and you knowing that you were probably going to grow cannabis, because you know that's what we do, and and so that just shows you the direction that you don't want to go, which is and Holland is a very. Well, everybody gets this misconception like, oh, it's so liberal, it's so cool. Well, the reason when I left, which was in 2010, writing was on the wall that it was no longer welcome. Cannabis people were not welcome anymore. And it was like all the people that had moved there and set up shop and brought their whole families there, and pretty much everybody left from the point I
made it
left.
very unfriendly.
And then it was like, wow. And they put all their energy towards growers, like the growers are the worst things in the world. And there was a good examples. And the thing is, in America, it's different. We have Vietnamese, Russian, Chinese, right? Growing like maniacs. And those guys, go for it. Go get all those guys and get rid of them. You know what I mean? That's fine. But the problem is there will be collateral damage along the way with other people, because I'm sure, you know, because it's like Cali used to be pretty well, you know, pretty much like generational growers, but a lot of those people got bought out. Chinese guys would come in and buy all their weed and then keep buying it for cheaper. Like, give it to me 100 cheaper, 100 cheaper, 100 cheaper, right? And then by the time they get it down to like $500 a pound, but they're like, we'll buy it all. They're just like, fuck it, just give me the farm, you know? And then the guys are like, okay, we're out. And they sell their farm off, and they've done this. Thousands of people have done this. So there's thousands of Chinese-run grows that used to be, you know, generational grows. And then they just run them into the ground because they don't give a fuck and throw whatever they want at them. So that's, you know, that to me is, I don't mind if you focus on that, because that has always been a problem. But at the end of the day, you don't want them to, you know, use that as another reason just to wrap the whole fucking thing up, which. Yeah. So anyway, we've been fighting this for so long that it sucks that we get to this point, because now it's like almost like we're at exhaustion phase where it's just like, whatever, like whatever, but it's not.
Well,
whatever.
You have famous people.
Like keep home grow, just.
They keep saying we're going to have legalization.
They don't know what they're talking about.
I don't know.
The legalization is a myth. It's not even a thing. Like, it doesn't, like, unless you decriminalize it, you're never legalizing it. You know what I mean? Because by decriminalizing it, you truly are letting it be free. You know what I mean? And there's no other free. Everything else is in fucking chains and shackles. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, well, we're not really free, are we? We're under this thumb or that thumb. And
well, I mean, we've talked about this for, 5-7 years about what the future of the industry might be. I mean, that's really, you know, we're trying to have a crystal ball.
We predicted $500 pounds with Mitch did in 2017 or something like that. He was like, it's going to be $500 a pound, and everybody was like, you're crazy. And now look where we're at. It's like, whoa, you get 500.
I was just gonna say, and now it's.
You know, it's literally gone completely to the point where even the people who were standing hard at a certain price have to drop their price because it's just ridiculous.
What do you mean? In 2012, I was advising for Viridian Capital. And when I was on stage and said it's going to be a $700 pound in 10 years, I was not with Viridian Capital much longer after that.
They were like, you bad boy.
Okay? Yeah. So they don't ever want to hear that.
Well, you took out like 80% of their profits, like instantly. they were like, no.
I remember asking him going, should I write anything? He goes, no, Dave, you just be you. You just speak.
Oh. They don't know you very well.
And so,
they didn't know Dave. They were like, Dave, you just be you.
And so I told it like I thought it was going to happen. And I was right. Mitch was right. Yeah. It is a commodity. When I consulted for a Colombian sugar company, right, when Adam was doing the same thing. And what were they talking about doing? Converting sugar to cannabis, to hemp, they call, at the time they called it. But it had the same basic inputs, cost the same thing to grow it to them. I mean, it was just a numbers game. But they knew that right now it's expensive, but they didn't care. They'll sell it as a commodity when it's a few bucks a pound, like sugar is. They didn't care about that. So I thought, we said this, right? There's going to probably be 10 big cannabis companies in a few years if we can only get the home grow provision across, which is tough. If you equate it to alcohol, we're going to have to go 30 years without home grow, and then we'll get it back.
What?
Right?
That's
what
can never
alcohol
let it.
was.
We can't let it stop. That's the difference. The
difference.
Though,
I don't want that.
Like
the difference though is like
garden, growing your
cannabis.
Own
Not that it's easy, but to grow cannabis compared to making alcohol, alcohol is just one of those things where nobody. The hardest part is fucking like starting.
Sorry, I didn't mean alcohol. I meant beer. I equated to the beer industry. How beer has become sort of where you have a home brewer.
Nobody makes good home brew beer hardly. Like you get for every 10 you get one that you're like, oh, it's almost drinkable actually. You know what I mean? So whereas with cannabis it's the opposite. Like you can grow better cannabis at your house if you're doing it organically compared to like if you're buying it at the store and it's all grown with a bunch of fucking salts. That there's quite an easy shortcut for that.
So just want to say, I don't know what's being said on the chat, but I'm happy to see Mark smiling right now.
Uh-oh.
So even if you're making fun of me, you go right ahead, make Mark smile.
We're talking basketball.
Oh, that's the only thing that makes him smile.
That's what makes his heart smile.
God dang it.
Sport talk.
We could have guessed
Sports talk
that.
with Mark.
God.
So I suppose when you go there, I guess those, right, that's the basis.
Well,
will there be home grow?
That's your... He's luckily already on that. CJ's on it. I know.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And how is it protected? Right? We have to know how that protection is going to come across when and if it becomes a pharmaceutical product. Right? Or are we truly just realizing that it's,
I just think you have to recognize flour is flour, and everything that's processed beyond that can be regulated in some way, shape, or form, and you're going to have to deal with it because that's just life in general, right? It's like, I mean, you can take flour, shake some hash off of it. Nobody can stop you doing that. You take that and you start processing it and then selling it. Well, then you got to get a fucking license. That's just normal. Like we can all accept that. You know what I mean? Or if you, just like what we were saying with alcohol, like who makes money selling beer? Nobody, because if you did, you're gonna get too much attention on yourself. They'd be like, "Who's making these beers that are selling all around town?" So
you mean black market beer? Yeah.
It never made it ever. But it never made it ever. And same with cigarettes. You've never seen like a whole guy making his own cigarettes and gets busted. And it just doesn't happen because the numbers are just ridiculous. And that's kind of where cannabis is almost at now, because now the people who were really into cannabis or who were into it for the money have moved on to psychedelics or some other thing because the profit margins are way better, or they're just doing cigarettes or something dumb, because they see if it's just about, or kratom would be kratom or mushrooms would be your two obvious choices. If you were into making lots of money around this industry and you didn't give a shit, you'd go for that. You know what I mean? Because those are like kind of volume based. Like, just go to Champs and walk around Champs. Oh, speaking of which, Danny Danko.
He said just give him said give him 10 minutes notice.
He can anytime he wants to jump in. We love having Danny. It's like then it's a star-studded event at that point, right?
So let me switch gears for a second here, since you're going to Washington.
Here we go.
Is it the Farm Bill? Do we want to just go with that? Do we want to say, you know what, the regulated industry? Nope, we're not into it.
Well, the problem is that if you do that, they're going to say, yeah, but look what happened. We have this whole industry that just popped out of nowhere, and all the states that don't have any kind of regs are now all of a sudden just have all these dispensary style spots that are raking in cash and not paying their fair share of taxes, probably because they're probably just paying the most. Here you go, here's your little $100 instead of like, don't want to show that you're making millions. But look at Texas.
Yeah, that was it. That was Texas, right? They just did as much as, didn't they do something like close to the entire legal industry?
They crushed.
Yeah. Crushed.
Yeah, it wasn't passed. So
no.
Right. Well, no, well, basically people just operated under the Farm Bill in states that don't have a recreational law. And we interviewed Joe Hodis from Wana and Wanderous. He's no longer with them now, but they still have a company that you can go to online and buy hemp-derived THC products, and they'll ship them to you if you're in a non-regulated state. So why wouldn't, I'm just playing devil's advocate here, why wouldn't we just take the 0.3% out and go with the Farm Bill and we're done? And all the money is through taxes.
That's a good combo. That's
sales tax.
That's doable.
And that's how we make our money off of everything else, with a sales tax.
No, I agree. But I think
all right, it's your
Texas
responsibility now.
It's all on you now,
Thank
buddy.
you for going and having this conversation. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
Gosh.
So.
Yeah, this is important. Access is important. I think that what y'all are doing, it's a pretty integrated approach too for everybody. So the more.
Well, I mean, the good part is that you guys have history there. Plus, you have, real benefit. Like there's a whole structured benefit out of everything that comes out of that. Where, like we talked about earlier, where you get the, you need them to be able to grow their own medicine. That's it. That's the key to the whole thing. Yeah. Because otherwise, once it's out of that control, because we already know that it's like the chances of you ever getting the correct dosage of the right medicine on schedule that you need is almost impossible, because you're dealing with retail sales and you're dealing with who knows, we discontinued that one because it didn't, it's like, what? No, you can't do that. You know what I mean? So you can obviously make those pretty clear to them that, it's literally life or death for some people. You know what I mean? Kind of. So it's
correct. And it is. I mean, that's life or death.
Yeah.
If the veteran don't have his medicine and he has an episode or he's having a bad day, that could be, why we have so many suicides. And, that's a whole nother topic. But,
yeah, but it's a huge one. No,
I really think
it's one of the biggest. It's one of the biggest parts.
Yeah.
And cannabis was available 10 years ago, I don't think we would have a fraction of the number of veteran deaths that we have.
Yeah.
So, and I actually brought that up to quite a few senator and congressmen, exactly like that. So
we've attended the MAPS conference 2 years ago and just this past couple of months ago. It was a shame to hear that the current administration directed the FDA to kill the MDMA PTSD trials that were actually going through. I get it. What's it when they're going to do phase 2, phase 3 human, phase 3? They were going to do it on humans. They'd already started
humans.
Well, that's what they call it, right? It's not lab rats. And they collected.
Lab rats, raging rats.
They were getting people submitting their names, and they killed the project. I mean,
which is the most obvious fucking benefit one between it's like the next step would MDMA is like the designed for that.
Yeah.
Well, I know another reason why we're going to Washington is for HR 2623.
Okay.
That actually gives the VA 5 facilities to do IMDA, all the psychedelics. So,
what is that bill again, so that Mark could put it up on the chat?
It's HR 2623.
I fully dyslexified it.
HR 2623.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
He's like, that's not a game. That's not a team.
That's a score.
You just want me to put it in chat?
Yeah, just so they know. I mean, you want to, if you're in the habit of calling your senator and your congressman, this is one they want to support.
Exactly. So.
And do you have a website where people could
I
go
was
to as like a clearinghouse to find this information?
It's BVN for Balanced Veterans Network .vet VET.
One more
time.
BVN .vet VET.
B like boy Victor Nancy.
That's right.
Yep.
Dot
Boy
net.
Victor Nancy
Oh, look at you,
Victor Echo Tango.
Echo Tango .com.
you.
No .com. I was kidding you.
And the
Roger,
group,
Roger.
and the group that you have for the grower sort of side was the what you said 16
Operation 1620.
Mm-hmm. And you have
Yep, and you'll find that there, and we have a Facebook group too for Operation 1620. So just go to Facebook and just type in Operation 1620, and it's a closed group, but once you fill out the little form, you can come in, and that's where all the grow classes are and stuff like that, where we show people how to grow and stuff.
That's awesome. How many
This is
members? How many
exciting.
members do you have? You know?
I think we're up to like 4,000, 3,000, something like that.
Right.
Heck yes.
You have to do a
So.
special deal for member 4,200 when they come in. You'd be like, ding,
Yeah.
ding, 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 like you won the deal. What?
Yep.
You're the 4,200th. Yeah, it's awesome.
Wonderful. Thank
Well,
you, Mark,
It's.
for
I mean, it's a
sharing that.
shame we're even having to have this discussion. I mean, I was so excited to think legalization. You hear that and you go, and then, and really, if we're talking about who the downer is,
Who's that?
it's Anthony Minetti for being so factual with us.
Oh yeah, he made us all
And telling,
bummed out.
I mean,
He
when
bummed
he
us out.
came on, he told us beforehand. He goes, "You're really not going to like what I have to say," and he said he speaks the truth from a pharmacist's position, and he was going to join us tonight. He just had a family conflict. He will, if we still have an
Well, the
opportunity to
conversation is
discuss
on-
this.
I
Yeah,
mean-
we will continue to
Oh
discuss
no, I have
it.
a feeling this is going to be one of those like
I
this
pre-
is like hydro versus bio bullshit. Like this never ends, dude. We never stop talking about it.
We're
Like,
gonna
dude,
keep-
I got this great idea. We're going to do bio versus hydro. How's that? You're like,
Okay.
okay, here we go. Like it's like, obviously everything has their own benefits, right? But what have you been up to, Mr. Brook, up there?
Oh, we didn't even introduce Mister in front of the shitter.
Oh yeah, we never did. You never
Oh,
did.
Yeah.
that was
The monument pisser, we call it.
The other Adam.
The
Hi,
other Adam.
The other Adam. How's life?
Oh, it's life. We're living the dream here in Michigan, where the weed laws are very different than they are anywhere else. We got a great medical program with caregivers and patients, and then we have the adult use and medical programs in the industry. And right now we're looking at all this stuff, and a lot of us, we're all of a sudden finding ourselves on the wrong side of the Civil War. Now we're all about states' rights. And, I want what we have, and I'd like what New York has. I may not want what Colorado or California has.
Probably not.
And, right. And to think that there's going to be one homogeneous law to me is kind of silly. I had a realization a while ago that,
One ring to control them all.
I realized, I am a high school dropout, but I did hit government class. And
Oh, you're in
it's
civic.
my understanding that the federal government gets their power through the Interstate Commerce Clause. So if that's the case, the 1937 Marijuana Tax Stamp Act seems perfect, because the feds should only get tax money if it's crossing state lines. Otherwise, it should be part of the regular tax system if it is.
that makes
In
sense.
Michigan,
I like that.
they tax medical marijuana. It's the only drug that's taxed, the only medicine that's taxed in Michigan.
Okay.
And we're both a Schedule 1 and Schedule 2 state in Michigan, but we have full recreational, full medicinal, and this extra medicinal thing where you can be a caregiver, grow 72 plants, and have 5 patients.
Okay.
It was like a check every box type situation. Just like, fuck
Right.
it.
Well,
we want
and-
everything. Give us everything.
Well, but you have to understand that Michigan had ballot access. So we were able to get a law passed based on basically getting our foot in the door with medical. We created this caregiver program. We, got the ballot initiative passed, and the sky didn't fall in. And then they realized they could do adult use or medicinal on a legalized state level, license level. And then they did recreational. And it only took us 8 years to go from one to the other, where,
So quick.
California took 10 years to go, 20 years, I'm sorry, to go from one to the other, which I find unique that there are kids that actually voted to decriminalize, recreational use in California, who their whole life medical use had been legal.
Yeah.
So we're already to that group of people that have changed society, and that cannabis is going to be everywhere. There's nothing we can do. It's only moving forward. They can try everything they want.
That's sometimes the problem, though. Is the same thing like in Holland was so in '93 we were there talking about legalization, right? And people were like, "Shut the fuck up." We're like, "What are you talking about?" We're like, "No, dude, the whole world is not legal. It's not like you guys." And they're like, "You just shut up.
Right.
Stop talking about it." And I was like, "What? No, we're like it didn't. It was the exact opposite reaction because they were like, they didn't. And the Dutch don't they don't smoke weed.
But it's not legal there. It's tolerated.
Exactly.
And that's something that Americans had a real hard concept with, that something was tolerated, even though it was technically illegal.
Yeah, no, and we were trying to explain that to them. We're like, dude, it's not legal. You guys don't, like, you might be able to go to the store and buy it, but it's still under their control. And they were just like...
You can understand why a dumb American would come over and think that the first time.
Oh, of course.
Everybody
we enjoy watching that. Are you kidding? That's folly.
Yeah, everybody who comes in thinks that because that seems to be what, when you see a store, you kind of assume, oh, I guess this is legal, right? And I guess this guy's paying his taxes, or you're assuming. A lot of assumptions are going down at that point. But
well, in the 90s, if you asked to buy I want to buy an ounce, they'd be like, what the fuck would you ever want to do that for? Just get a couple of grams and smoke it and then go get some more somewhere else if you want some more.
Well, they won't even do. I mean, what's the deal in Holland now? They've still only
5 grams.
5 grams. Yeah, it's a 5 gram limit. So they've always had that for.
But again, it's all about who you know, because I get 10-gram bags, and it's
allegedly.
No, not allegedly.
Shout out to Jason. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm proud. But my point is that you can see a difference in the packaging, literally. And a lot of Americans, they go and the guy pulls out the little bin to weigh out their few grams. He pulls out the bud and he starts peeling the flower off of the stem. And the American's like, oh, no, what are you doing? And the Dutch guy's like, oh, I don't want to sell you the stem. Right. You're not going to pay for that.
And here he is, the Dutch guy right now. He just showed up.
And whisper, he's in a garden.
Oh, yeah, he's hiding in a garden.
In a field. We don't want to draw attention to him. Okay, shh. Whisper.
Hello.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, Jan, how you doing?
Hello.
Yes, how are you? How are you, Danny?
Hello, sorry, I can't sell you a stem. Only want to sell the trichomes and special cannabinoids, etc. Sorry, it's not possible.
Not possible.
Not possible. Yeah, not possible. Eh?
That's good stuff right there.
That's all you hear when you go to Holland.
That was spectacular.
It's the first thing you learn when you go there, that everything is not possible. Like, wow, really? Nothing seems to be possible around here because everybody's telling me the same fucking thing. Not possible, eh? Welcome, Danny.
You do understand, Danko, that
Hello.
the Dutch Danny Danko character was created on the Adam Dunn show.
Oh, yeah, you have to.
It is property of ours.
Just like
you
your
cannot do it on any other podcast.
Just like your name.
Okay.
We own it.
Yeah.
Just like your name.
I got my name back.
You did? Oh. Who gave it back to you? And do you have paperwork to back it up?
Josh, come on.
Yeah.
It hasn't he been on the show?
No. We invited him today, but he didn't show up. But did you get like an honorary thing with a big plaque and everything? It says your name is on your own name now?
And,
big deal?
And, maybe...
I have been assured that I'm good.
Good. You don't have it in writing, though.
But you have nothing to prove it. You're good. Josh said so. It's like, oh, that's gonna fly. Nothing will ever go wrong there.
Yeah.
Nice field you got going on there.
Good to see you, Danny.
Looking
good to see you too. How are you?
Wonderful.
And where are we?
Nice. This is my roof deck. I'm up on a roof in Brooklyn. This is my plants. If you can see them behind me.
It looks so
Couple
beautiful.
strawberry cups.
Shake them so we know they're real.
Yeah.
I was.
Oh, they're moving.
Oh, you can tell they're
Checking. I
real.
wanted to make
Yeah.
sure it wasn't some fucking photos. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, you gotta. No, I'm
That's
on the
not
roof.
a
man.
screen. I love it.
So,
looks
did
good.
you want to ask the people that are sitting above you in the Hollywood Squares for their contact information to get them on your show
Oh
in
yeah,
a
you
couple
guys
of
are
weeks?
ready to go on.
No,
Danny's
I
show?
do want to send my love and respect to Adam Brooke, who
Not
I
me.
love and is an OG who I send tremendous amount of flowers to right now,
I appreciate
and a true warrior for the Halflings Leaf.
Yeah, the official. You were the official 1994 Freedom Fighter of the Year, right? Wasn't that the year?
Yeah, I actually beat out a guy, an up and comer, I think, at the time. His name was Jack Hare.
Oh, that guy. Yeah.
Terror, like terror.
Like terror.
Right.
If you're
It rhymes
gonna
with terror.
blasphemy him, at least say his
And-
name right.
And I think if I wasn't a little Jewish kid, he would have hated me. But yeah, I was 94 Freedom Fighter of the Year, and
Right in the heyday of the CIA days, right there in '94, right?
right, and really have spent the last 40 years working that off.
I love
I was
it.
kind of honored and like, what did I do to earn this? But it's been,
Oh, you're
You got a
Mr.
trip to
Hash
you got a
Bash.
trip to Amsterdam. That's a fucking deal right there. You were like,
yeah,
Mr. Hash Bash, putting all the work in for all the hash batches, the oldest, event of all cannabis events, man. That's
actually
the
the
one.
second oldest.
So who?
Oh, okay. Oh, there's Wisconsin, I think, or
The
oh,
What, the
the,
Bongathon? Bongathon was older.
no,
no.
the 4th of July smoking, I think, is 1 year old.
Oh, 1969 or something.
They were 70.
Wow.
Oh.
So who was it in like Ann Arbor that made it happen? Like there must have been one.
So
pivotal-
what
pivotal
happened? It's a
character.
real simple story. What happened was John Sinclair had been arrested and imprisoned and wasn't given an appeal bond. And he had proven basically that the law in Michigan was unconstitutional because it had listed marijuana as a narcotic. And he claimed it was a euphoriant, and the court ruled that he was correct. There was then a time period where John had then got out of prison, but there was this time period in March of 71 where there was actually no law in the state of Michigan, and the new law was going to take effect April 1st. And people put up flyers around town that basically said Hash Fest April 1st. And it was kind of basically to say, you can pass any law you want. We're saying fuck you to the man, and we're going to get together and smoke weed. And that's basically
It's funny
what
that
it's
was
been.
April too. It's just without even knowing, right? It's like the right month, perfect
Right.
time.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, falls
I
right
mean,
in
the right
line.
month. Sometimes we're standing there and there's an inch of snow building up on our head. It's
Well, no, in that way, yeah, I get you. But
yeah.
being in that 420
Well,
month, it-
420 didn't exist for a long time.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. It's
Right.
awesome. You guys predate it, so it's even better.
Right. And it's interesting. I was running Hash Bash out of a head shop called Stairway to Heaven, and looked over the diag. And I can remember, here I am an activist, and all of a sudden these stickers start appearing in the magazines that we're ordering stickers out of, along with an odd story here and there in High Times about this 420 stuff. And it was really unique to watch that build and become the scarlet letter that all the
Yeah, I remember.
out
Even in '89 when I first got to Amsterdam, I didn't quite get it yet. I was like seeing, I was looking at those the pot 40 or whatever it was, right? And I was like, I kept seeing it popping up in there, and I was like, I thought it was like scripture or something. I was like, what is this 420 shit? Like, right? I was like, I'm not gonna look it up, but it's got to be some sort of scripture, right?
Yes,
Because it's like,
definitely.
yep, 420 must mean something. I don't know. I'm not gonna look it up. But then later, it all came crystal clear. Like,
Right. But yeah, Hash Bash is, one of the old school events. It's really a protest. It's not a festival. A guy started a festival about 15, 20 years ago, I think, 15 years ago, a block away. We used to just go take over this pizza restaurant and sit outside, upstairs, all around, smoke it out. After the event, we used to be limited to 1 hour.
That's
and
funny.
It was 1 hour of amplified sound, people ranting and raving.
That's how Art Basel started. Art Basel started in a pizza spot. You know what I mean? Same deal. Bunch of artists in a pizza spot hanging out, tagging stuff. Slowly grew from there, and now it's Art Basel. You know what I mean? So same deal.
Champ started as a glass show in a hotel room in a bunch of suites.
Yep, that was cool. I like the suite. I like the suite days. Those were fun. Every room had its own vibe.
Yeah.
Chaos.
And even Cannabis Cup, like Cannabis Cup was just a couple of people in a hotel room.
Oh, I actually have a friend who was at the first 6 Cannabis Cups when they were people sitting around a table. He was filming it. He was Freedom Fighter of the Year before me, actually. His name's Tom Harris. And he has video. He has video of those.
And that's funny because
first couple events.
The year before we did it, which was in '93, it was like Dion was there, and then my partner at the time, and he basically was sitting at the table, and he came after the thing. He goes, "Dude, it was so stupid. We could do this so much better." Like his whole opinion was like, "I can't believe it was like that was it." Like he got there, he was all excited, and then I was like, "Dude, how was it?" He was like, "It was ridiculous, dude. It was like we just sat around the table, and when by the end they wrote a story, and there you go. Hey, let's smoke all this weed now. You know what I mean?" And it was like, "Nah, we could do this better." That's why we opened. And then it was just coincidental that the next year they opened it up to the public. That's the year.
That's what was so cool about being Freedom for the Year when I was, is because it had just been opened up to the public.
Yep.
And I had seen what I had seen that my buddy had brought home and read the stories, of course, in High Times. But it then became something totally different.
Yeah.
That you never knew. You were waiting for next year to see what the next one was.
Well, we were lucky because we were under the same illusion that everybody was under, which was, well, we weren't because we were had the inside scoop, but most people had thought
organized?
that it was an actual event. You know what I mean? It was like, oh, the Cannabis Cup, yeah, the thing that doesn't really exist, that's just kind of magically in the background. And I would tell everybody, dude, it's like one dinner, it's Hank and fucking Ben and Hank. It's all the fucking usual suspects sitting around a table, figuring out who's the best. And then, of course, with Watson screaming that his is the best weed, of course. And, of course, his is going to, you know that he won the first one just because you know Watson. Yep. So you know he was there going like, it's the best, it's the best. Like, he was just the best sales guy for sure. And
You know, and Terry, we are really bad at letting people go.
No,
So
Terry's cool. He likes to hang. He's
just
like
sure.
He was telling me we could sit for
and
6 hours.
The cat
and
can
talk to me,
come
so
on camera. You know, we have a dog in studio, so
don't introduce them. Please.
How's it going? And Adam, we were at the Hash Bash this year. We actually got a table for that in Ann Arbor, and that was a wonderful event. So.
On the Diag itself.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. So we have a big problem currently at the university. We've sued them in the past over this, but the student group was given a permit this past year that allowed for vendors like yourself to set up around on that brick area. And then you saw this explosion of vendors out on the sidewalks that were selling all kinds of things, none of which was legal, certainly not permitted, and wasn't a part of this organization that puts on the event. And the university is swearing that they're going to come down and arrest people. And, this next April will be a reckoning, which they've allowed this stuff to build up. And now they're going to clamp down on it.
Now is it like Shakedown Street, obviously, vibes?
Yeah, very much so. But it's certainly, everyone knows it's illegal and what they're doing.
Well, we were there just passing out information.
Are you leaving? What are you doing? What's going on? You're waving away?
Stuff.
You're buying? Bye. Are you leaving us?
No. I was just saying it's 3 for $20. No ice cold.
Oh,
ice
3 for $20. Yeah. You know it.
No deals.
That's all you hear the whole time, right? Right behind the speaker. So yeah, that's so. So
it's really exploded as an event. I mean, when I first got involved, it was dying off. There were 50 people showing up. A buddy of mine writes a letter to High Times and says, "Hey, you guys should really come check this out." And they show up in a bus one year with the Freedom Fighters, and it was on from there. Then we started catering to this crew to bring them out each year, and had the Freedom Fighters showing up, and we even had an encampment about 30 miles away that we literally pulled into a DNR campsite and it was closed, and we opened it up and started using it. And the ranger shows up and he's like, "What are you people doing?" We're like, "Well, we're using the campground." He says, "Well, first of all, you got to pay, but let me go unlock the bathrooms for you."
Nice.
We're like,
Nice.
"It's gonna be unlocked. Don't worry about it. We took care of
We
that."
took it. Yes.
But
It was already unlocked before we got here. I mean,
and it was game on. I mean, just getting so High Times had a 3-month lead time. So we'd do our event in April, and in the July issue, there'd be a story about Hash Bash. We'd make the cover every once in a while, all kinds of cool, over the years, which helped to build. And remember, this is all before social media and the internet, where all we could do was get someone to carry a news story about us so that it could get possibly picked up on the newswire. And, when we sued the university, we got some big coverage, and that just helped blow up this event to where now there's 10,000 people standing there at noon, and there's 100,000 people that show up in town all day, and they get there at 4:00 because, they're stoners. They wander around, smoke a joint, have dinner, and tell you all about the great time they had at Hash Bash, even though they were never there. But I tell people it has a persona bigger than its reality.
I mean, it was shoulder to shoulder when we were there because I wanted to walk around and see all the vendors and talk to everybody. It was literally like shoulder to shoulder. So it was a great event.
Awesome.
And we don't have arrests there anymore. We used to have, one year we had 235 arrests.
Jesus.
Wow.
But they gave up on that, even though it's state property, and it's certainly not legal to smoke in public on state property. But
has been done a few times along the way.
well, and again, the motivation is who's going to make money off of it, whether or not they're going to enforce. But Boulder used to be famous for the Norland Quad. Every 420 for years, kids would come and gather. They killed it. I want to say about 2009, right, or 2010. They didn't allow it to happen anymore. And what do you know? Right after that, Boulder gets Google.
Right.
So they did it for a reason. It's like Parents' Weekend. There are no homeless people in Boulder.
Right.
You're like, what the fuck? And sure enough, because they know
where's all the homeless?
they control. Well, they control the story.
Mm-hmm.
It's bullshit. It's not reality. It's their vision of reality. So, anyway, I look at Michigan and go, how is Colorado not embarrassed amongst legal cannabis states that one of our close neighbors has such an amazing law in recreational or legalized regulated cannabis, and we were one of the first states and can't figure out how to get out of our own fucking way.
Well, we've also had to redo the system 2 or 3 times already. Originally, we had a board that was handing out licenses. They all were convicted of crimes and
Really?
Oh yeah. And then they got rid of the board, and it became now it's the Cannabis Regulatory Association, whatever. Anyways, the CRA, and all you have to do is qualify now. And if you qualify,
no background check now. They don't want to know anything about the people on the board, just in case they were criminals.
Well, no, it's not a board anymore. They got rid of the board, and now they shall issue a permit if you qualify. And of course, they do background checks on the people trying to get licenses. But the state no longer, they used to literally deny people because of crimes they had 20 years ago that had nothing to do with cannabis. No violent crime, white collar crime, all kinds of stupid things.
Mm-hmm. I think cannabis crime should be like up to the front of the line. You'd be like, dude, you've been doing this for fucking 20 years. You get to the front of the line, kid.
I used to have a grow shop, and in my bylaws it said in order to work for the company you had to test positive for THC.
I don't think that's enforceable. But
it was kind of like that at High Times for years too. You definitely had to.
The coolest thing I ever saw at High Times offices was they had a roach coach that looked like a real coach, like a ferry coach, and it had wooden wheels and a wooden body and a glass bowl in the middle and a cork on top. And there were roaches in it, and there was a corner office that you could go in there. And I remember that very well.
That's
a good one. I like that.
Yeah.
Back in the roach days, back in the days before filters, right? The roaches.
Yeah,
roaches. Who's got roaches anymore?
I've gone back to like either no filter or I've been doing like the pasta tech like
Oh, okay.
Rotini.
Rotini.
I've been doing
Rotini
no
filter.
filter, and Adam looked at me like I had 8 heads. He was like, "What the fuck? Did you just hand me a '70s joint? What is going on here?"
Adam Brooks.
However, I
time
like the
travel.
no filter and using it with this yo tip. I'm actually
Yeah.
really enjoying
No filter
that.
in Roach Clip. You using a Roach
For
Clip?
me-
Or you going
a
old?
Roach
old
For
you
me,
going old
it-
school?
for me, it's like-
Extender. Extended.
My
Roach Clip?
my delineation is if I'm sharing it, I'm gonna put a filter in, and if it's just me and I'm smoking it to my own face,
Raw dog.
I don't need a filter.
Raw
I'm
dog.
raw dogging it.
Raw
Me
dogging that
too.
shit right
Thank
there.
you, Daddy. Yeah.
Adam,
Well, I
Filters
love
are
the yo-tip,
fancy. Sometimes I'll do a filter for myself.
when were we in Amsterdam together?
Yeah.
What year was that?
And
When was that?
You're asking
a
Stoner
couple
to
years
ever
ago,
come back
3
with-
years ago.
Oh,
Could be
every
3, could be 5,
year
could be
for
2.
the last
5 years
20
ago.
years, I think.
Yeah.
Is there anyone younger than I am? How do you find pictures from
wow.
like Amsterdam? Like I knew there's a
Push
way,
it. Yeah,
right?
go to search. Go search Amsterdam, and it might.
Yeah, I
I've
mean,
never
It
been there.
might figure it out if it knows.
I've never been there.
Just
I
try.
Well-
want to go. It's a bucket list place for me.
I'm,
get
I'm, I'm,
bored.
I'm scared
love
when
all
I
these
when I go on the
stories.
search thing on my photos. I'm like, these things are fucking too good now.
Yeah.
You can just ask it like anything, and it was like, oh yeah, I'd find it in the little tiniest picture, and you're like, oh, this is way easier, right? Yeah, look
I
at
do.
you, all amazed.
I do want to be honest with you guys real quick about Amsterdam, though. If you go there
Uh-oh.
right now, thinking it's like the mecca of cannabis,
No.
you're gonna be disappointed.
No, I just want to go to visit.
No.
Because I left.
Yeah.
Because I
Not even
left,
necessarily-
and it's over.
Adam's not there anymore.
It's over.
Right.
They forgot the recipe. They don't even know how to cook anymore.
All the fireweed comes from here.
I was
Right.
gonna say I'm home.
Well,
I'm
first of
happy
all-
that I just want to go experience
Now they have their own
Amsterdam.
growing program and their own
Right.
like licensed legal system.
Ooh.
But that's a
And-
small system. Most of the weed there still comes from out of the country.
Of
and
course,
always has.
of course.
Albanian.
Yeah,
It's
no,
all
of course.
Albanian bullshit.
But the
weed now.
prices are crazy,
Crazy.
and most of it is not
Mids.
high quality.
Mids.
So
And you might be disappointed. The joy of it is the freedom of
freedom.
being
If you-
able to consume it and
If you
all
like
of that.
to get, if
But
you
the
like,
quality,
you know, it's
just
getting
be
really bad
prepared for-
service. It's you go there to get all the bad service. That's what
Right.
you go there for.
right.
And eat
I'm
the
here
shitty
for the
food.
bad. I'm here for the shitty service and bad food.
Listen, there's
Sorry,
1,000
sorry.
Italian restaurants there. I think there are
guys.
6 owned by Italian families.
Oh, I know. They're all Turkish. Every single one of them's a Turkish.
Every one of them.
Yeah, you're
right.
like, oh, pizza, and they're like shawarma. You're like,
Right.
okay, shawarma pizza, great. That's not what I was here for, but that's definitely. It's funny because New York pizza, when it first opened up over there, I was so excited. I was like, fucking New York pizza, and I was so bad when I went there last time. I was like, wow, dude, they have like lost the fucking plot here. You know, it's been sold probably 3 or 4 times, and they're like, this is New York pizza now, right? Eh? And they're like, no, not
No.
really. It's pretty bad.
Speaking of New York pizza,
Oh,
There you
shit.
go.
Is that us at New York pizza?
No,
we
that's
got Dave,
that's me,
connoisseur of New
Charlie,
York pizza.
Steve,
Look at that. Some dude.
Marcus, and some dude who got older.
I didn't get older. I just Christmas is coming up. I got to grow my beard out to play
Oh, that
Santa.
was I didn't even thought that was a kid. Look at that young guy up there. Young,
know, right?
Young and sprightly.
God, what? Young and straight? Is that what you said?
It said sprightly.
Sprightly.
I still had red hair. Holy
Dave
shit!
had hair. That's the fucking thing right there. Dave had
Yeah.
hair.
Yeah.
Man,
And Danko,
I don't,
you
think,
and
I don't think you should have pulled that picture up. I
You
think
want to
I-
know something? Danko and I actually attended a High Times Cannabis Cup together as judges, and we weren't allowed to smoke cannabis at the event.
Really?
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
So I think the industry just ebbs and flows, and I'm hoping this is just either of one of those 2 phases right now, and we'll get through it. And at the end of the day, we'll have something that we can work with.
We're gonna get through it.
Yeah.
Solutions are available,
Yes.
and so if we stay solution oriented, and not just be
Yeah.
hyper fixated on the problems, then I believe that there's like always a path forward.
I just want to know who they're listening to, and Terry, I'm glad you're one of those people. You
Me
know,
too.
It's,
Thank you, Terry.
it really is.
I agree with you. And
Or is it Nick? Did I call him?
my
It's Nick,
stance
not
on
Terry.
my
Nick.
stance is
Terry.
Terry,
Oh,
okay,
Nick
yeah.
is wow.
descheduling over
Alzheimer's.
rescheduling.
Yeah.
You
Kicking
guys.
in.
It's great weed. We're smoking great weed.
So now you got a rooftop garden that you can go smoke at. That's pretty dope. Compared
It's
to like
beautiful.
hiding out, because last time it was like you were shuffled out onto some little tiny little spot, and I was like, oh no, he's gonna try to do the interview
Yeah,
from there
funny.
again.
I
Now you look much more relaxed.
you know. You're funny.
Are you not fucking up the photo
yeah.
period? Are you
Well,
fucking up their photo period
Well,
by
did
being
we?
there? Or
Yeah,
what's
did
going
we
on?
introduce him?
Well,
So a lot of people might not
look
know who
now.
he is.
It's a lot of
That's
Outdoor plants will be
Danny
fine.
Vinkovetsky,
AKA.
aka Danny Danko from High Times Magazine.
Oh my God! Now champs,
Oh, nice.
now champs, Lord Czar of weed
Yeah.
or something. What do you?
Grow Bud
Grozar.
Yourself
Grozar of
podcast.
champs. Grozar of champs.
Formerly High Times, now Champs trade shows, and I also work as a bud tender. If you guys
No
tomorrow,
way.
I'll be at Con Bud Yankee Stadium
Hell
in
yeah.
a dispensary. Yeah, that's how I keep my ear to the streets. Like
Fuck yeah, this
I'm
is
in the
cool.
Bronx. I'm there every Saturday. If you want to come, buy licensed legal weed in the Bronx, I'm there.
definitely doing
Oh,
it. when
we're
I'm there.
coming to New York.
100% going.
Holy
Come-
shit!
just to do
We
it.
have a reason now.
Come
I could
on
be
in.
that. I'm going to be that
Yeah.
customer.
Come on in.
I'm going to be
We'd
that
love
customer.
to have you.
I'd like to speak
love
with the
to have
manager,
you.
please.
Hey.
I'd like to
Don't-
speak to the manager, please. Is
Yeah.
crazy.
Oh, 100%. Straight out of the
I'm
gate.
there.
Oh.
I'm there. I'm educating
This
people.
is awesome.
I'm trying to show people. I'm showing people. THC is not the most important
Are you
thing.
making toasties? Do you make
not-
toasties?
Cannabinoids and terpenes
Do
and
you
all
make
that.
toasties for
It's not-
everybody? Come
Thank
on.
you,
What's a
Danny.
toasty?
Come on, you got to make
These
a toast.
things are
What is it?
What if you're going to be a bud tender? Old
It's
school
not
toasty
it's
time,
not
right?
really-
Adam,
it's
tell
not a
him
smoke.
he's
It's
got to
not a
make
smoke shop.
toasties.
It's a-
Adam's frozen, I
It's a,
think.
it's a
Or-
licensed
oh, no, he's not
legal
frozen. He's alive.
dispensary. We got the Jamaican spot next door. We got a pub next door. We got a Cuban cigar smoking place. And Yankee Stadium is across the street. We're right in the Bronx.
Look.
It's Con Bud Yankee
Oh,
Stadium.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then, that's my weekend gig to keep my ear to the streets.
Wow.
And then during the week, I'm doing champs, man. I'm trying to get companies,
Where's the next one?
cultivation.
Where's the
Yeah,
next
I
one?
was gonna
Uh,
just ask that.
Well, we have Austin, Texas coming up right
Oh.
now, September 11th through 13th. We've got
Same
Fort
time as
Lauderdale,
everything.
Florida
Those
in
are
November. I
nice.
think that's 11th
That's
through
a weird one.
13th of November. Fort Lauderdale is
Fort
huge
Lauderdale
for
sounds
No,
cool.
Yeah.
I've lived there,
And-
so
but-
I know. I'm just saying it's
But the
weird.
big
from
one,
a
the
growth
big
side.
one that I'm working on is May of 2026 in Vegas.
Vegas.
I'm building a whole breeder village. It's a whole
Wow.
cultivation section. It's going to have seed companies, nutrient brands, lighting manufacturers.
You know what you got to do?
Um,
You know what you got to do? Because
everything.
everybody said they were going to do it, and no one ever did it. You got to go to the boxing ring and let all the fucking breeders
Gotta get a
go to
boxing
town.
ring.
Pay-per-view?
sign off on the fucking
Let
things,
people
and then
actually-
we can finally
Let
get
people
those.
actually solve their issues.
Yes.
I don't know that.
It's
I
been,
don't know that
it's
that
been
solves
threatened
anything.
so many times, and everybody's
I
been
don't know.
like big talk and no action. I've seen.
We're gonna have
so-
seminars. We're gonna have panels.
And
We'll
a
see what we
boxing
can do as far as boxing rings.
Just put it in
He
there.
says we'll see what we can do.
You got a
Yeah,
whole lot
we're-
of time, and it's like the perfect. It's the perfect
I'll
city to
work
do
on
it.
that.
Sanction.
Would
We're
be
gonna
open
workshop
to something
that.
like-
I'm gonna, I'll
Wow.
send that. I'll send that up the ladder.
Yeah.
But
Good.
I have a-
ultimately,
We can
want
finally
THCs
settle the
there,
descheduling and the rescheduling. We could be like, all right,
We
here we
want
go.
THCs there. We want Adam Dunn show broadcasting live
Hell
from
yeah.
Champs.
Welcome.
You know,
Well,
all
but
that.
wait
I
a
got the
minute.
bus,
know?
man. I'll bring the
Yeah,
bus
I'm
back.
on my
I'm bringing the
way.
bus back. We'll park me
We'll
in
put
the
it
back.
on your calendar. It's May 6th through the 9th. It's 2026. It's Champs Trade Show. It's
Convention
Las
Center,
Vegas.
same old,
It's-
obviously.
Damn,
It's right.
Right.
Well, it's not the same mold because normally the winter show would be in February. This one is in May, so it's like the spring show.
Right.
And spring is when you want to plant those seeds.
That's
so
good. No,
Appreciate-
from a, yeah,
You
definitely
know.
from a.
We'll
selling
send
seeds point
our
of view.
we'll send our contract over.
It's
You let
also-
us know.
Yep. You just
We'll be there.
as long as
That
you
sounds like
can take care of
fun.
my rider, we're good.
Yeah.
yeah,
I'll be there.
is it no brown M&Ms, right?
We're
Right.
It's much more detailed.
Oh yes.
It's way more nuanced and much more detailed.
I want to hear more from Terry. Terry, tell us what you got going on over there.
So basically, I'm a part of Balanced Veterans Network. We're a nonprofit organization. We advocate, educate, and support alternative healings for our veterans. So one of our pillars is Operation 1620, where we pay for the MMJ certifications cards in 23 states for our veterans. And we also go around the country to different DAVs, VFWs, teach our veterans how to grow their medicine. You know, we try to, Cincy Seeds gives us a lot of seeds to give out to our veterans, and, they've been keeping them going. So,
Yes.
but yeah,
Is this possible, Daniel?
Well, that sounds
I
amazing.
can't believe they made it possible
got
for
that
you from a
down,
Dutch company.
Terry.
Yes, you made it
Yeah.
possible.
How do people find out more info, like on
Look at Danny.
on social media?
Is
Thank
this
you, Danny.
We need Danny drops. Where's the Danny Danko show?
I want to find out more info personally. So
And I would love to talk to you more because your show is exactly what we kind of go around the country to do those shows to meet veterans. And so I definitely would like to talk to you offline about maybe getting a booth, or we can do a veterans lounge at your champ shows.
amazing.
So-
Yeah. That sounds awesome.
You're
That's
just going to
awesome,
have
yeah.
to appear in his show in
But
2
yeah, let
weeks.
people know how to. Let me and others know how to get in touch.
You can go to our website, Balance Veterans Network at bvn.vet. So it's Bravo Victor Nancy .vet.
Perfect.
Yeah, very cool. And they do basically
Awesome. Thank you so much.
cannabis,
And thank you for your service
Mushrooms.
too. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
all the
Yeah.
above. All the above.
We have
Yeah,
this amazing healing flower that we want to share with all the veterans, the seniors, everyone that can benefit.
Everyone.
I mean, the thing is, none of us, well, not none of, well, Vinny's a vet, but
Vinny.
we're all drug war veterans, that's for sure.
Right.
We went through that war from
Right.
a childhood, basically. So we have some
Well, and
stories.
some of us are actually combat drug war veterans.
True that, yeah.
Some of us are so fucked up, we're sitting in front of a fucking shitter in Amsterdam.
There we go.
That's how fucked up we are. Do you recognize that one, right, Danny?
The monument.
I
Come
think
on, you know where you're at. Look at Amsterdam's
pissed
like
in
that.
that so
You've
many
pissed
times.
all over
I mean,
that fucking
I
thing.
wouldn't call it a shitter. I mean, I
No,
thought
it's
it
a
was
It's a pissoir. It's a
like-
pissoir. It's
You're
not a
right.
shitter.
I would
Pissoir.
want to.
It's a pissoir.
Yeah.
Oh, the guy
And that makes
sleeping in
sense
there is
because
taking
you
a
got
shit
the-
in it.
But Danny, see how he's got it covered down the bottom there? Because you know what that is, right?
Oh, where you see their feet.
it's a
Oh,
new-
then
Yeah,
it becomes
I moved
more of
in.
a, like a.
It's an apartment now. That's
Oh.
somebody's apartment. That is somebody's
Squatter.
apartment now.
I
They've
spotted
moved
it
in.
after they cleaned it.
They
It's a-
moved in.
it's a
and they're
one-bathroom
like,
place.
No, you're taken now.
1 bedroom, 1 bath.
One bed, one.
Right.
It's a bath and bedroom, bath.
I do think it's
one.
crazy that you can't, find a public restroom in a city where people are drinking and openly in public on, King's Day and all these crazy things. It's like, it makes
That's-
perfect sense to
Right.
have those type of places, but
Customers
And
only.
They are
they're
stanky.
everywhere. Most people don't even know they're there.
They are stanky.
right.
Stanky.
Yikes.
But it is weird when you're walking by and you just see someone's face, like from
Right.
here up.
Yeah.
They're just standing there and
They're like,
they're peeing and they're right there peeing.
And you're like,
You're
what's
You're
going
like, wait.
You hope they're
what?
just peeing.
You see a lot of
Yeah,
I see
yeah.
a lot of motion going on there for a guy peeing. I don't know
Wait
what's
a
going on.
second.
Like, what is going on
like-
there?
I see 4 feet
I mean,
in
it
there.
makes-
Just the
If-
fact that they can go in there and look out at people is weird. That's already weird, right? It's like,
Yeah.
you want to just
I've
stare
seen
at people while you're
Right.
in
We
there.
see the
pissing
lattice
with your-
work and the one on.
Grab
Or
your
touching
wand
your
and look at
dick.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go. That's a good move.
You got to let the light in somehow.
Stare at strangers.
They're dark in there. Trust me.
Okay, this is interesting.
Yeah,
We are so shadow banned.
those are
That's
those are. That's like, I mean, the thing is in Holland, it's you do not want to get caught pissing in public.
No.
You get it's, I've seen people, just whipping it out. You're like, dude, you're gonna get.
As
the
a woman,
cops,
that just
that's
doesn't
the one
happen.
thing. That's the one thing that they're out there looking everywhere for. You're like,
And the cops come from everywhere because there are CCTVs cameras everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
And they just sit and watch people, and then they literally come out from alleyways,
Yeah, they're
from
like-
places you never expect. And Dutch police, I don't care how big or small they are, can put any living human being on the ground and in handcuffs in under 2 seconds.
Yeah, it's always like a big splatter on the ground. And,
Seen it.
Boom!
No.
yeah, that's the thing
You know
about.
what?
You sound like you're
they
speaking
deal
from
with, They deal with
experience.
soccer. They deal with soccer hooligans.
Right.
So
Yeah.
Oh, they don't mess around.
They've got it down. When
And they don't have
when
that,
those soccer.
and it's not like here where you can start throwing like bullshit.
I want to
at them.
speak to your sergeant.
They
No,
don't,
no.
they don't listen. The funny thing, and
It's
well,
not possible.
the funny part
Well,
though is that, like you don't
Don't
s-
forget,
you
most
don't
of these
see
guys
them.
are 6'6" to 6'9",
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
and the
Okay.
women are a good 6'2" to 6'4".
yeah. It's funny because you don't see the like you be cruising through a red light, and I mean sometimes there's lots of cops because they just want to show presence, but then there's other times where you don't see any, and then if something goes down. because working at Sensi for years, it was always like, there was a ruckus outside. Let's go see what's going on. Oh, it's that guy. You know, it was always the same. It was a bike thief, or it was a junkie, or a fucking classic, whatever. Nowadays, though, I'm sure it's a lot worse.
Junkie bike thief.
I was there.
Combo.
I was in Holland. I was in Amsterdam when they had the last riots where the Palestinian flag was torn down, and then Arab taxi drivers caused a big ruckus, and they were chasing people into canals and all this stuff.
Oh,
and
Wow.
there were cops everywhere the next day, like everywhere.
Yeah.
When was this?
In Amsterdam 3 years ago, when they had a Israeli team in for
I
a
remember that,
soccer
yeah.
game.
Yep. And they started.
And the Israeli hooligans pulled down a Palestinian flag that was hanging up.
So
And
Amsterdam is the most Jewish city, and like when you're there, it's like the Yoden, like they are. I mean, it's a tinderbox when you think about it, as far as like the combination of, you know, proud Jews, and then you got a ton of fucking Arabs and Moroccans and everybody there, you know, and it is literally even when I was living there, it was already starting, and now I just can't even imagine it. It's got to be out of control because.
Well, and the taxi cab drivers are all one group, and they put the word out, and people just came to the city that night, and it was a riot. I mean, there were people literally scared to death. It was crazy. And
it's like New Year's. It's like New Year's in Amsterdam. It is like a riot. Like if you go there for New Year's, you're like, holy fuck, dude! There's no control, nothing.
King's Day is crazy. It's the busiest day of the year there. All the farmers come in from the outlands of Holland and come into Amsterdam, and it's a big party. If you want to sell stuff, you can put it out and sell it for no taxes publicly.
Yes, I will be there with my no taxes. Yes, very good.
That's right.
It turned into it used to be really cool when it was Queen's Day, and then when it literally it got so commercial and so weird that it was like the opposite of what it used to be. It used to be like everybody could go out the night before and set up, like get ready. Then they were like, no, you have to be here at this certain time and you have to have a permit. And I was like, what? Permit for what? What are you talking about? Like this is like so opposite of so it's literally the reason I moved to Amsterdam. I moved to Amsterdam for Queen's Day. I was like,
I'll tell you what the biggest party of the day is. Considering that they now have King's Day, the biggest day of the year is the Pride Fest there. It is like nothing. It's like Queen's Day used to be, except full of drag queens. I mean, there was
a year, and I'm sure it's documented, but there was a year probably around 2009 or something, right before I left, and it was out of control. And the Queen came out and was like, "All right, guys, like." Yeah, you have to stop raping the ducks, please. Please just stop raping the ducks, because there was just guys grabbing ducks and banging on boats, and you're like just toss, grabbing, and it was like, all right, I think the raping of the ducks may be a little too much. We might have slow
maybe
down.
a little too much. What on
Tone
earth?
it down. There's kids out there where they don't need to know that you can even do that.
All right. On that note,
we just got kicked off of YouTube.
Hey, it's a real thing. Look it up.
So sad.
Look it up.
Totally. That's it. No more SoundCloud.
So sad.
Danko's
Danny's
never
scared.
coming on the
Danny's
show
all
again.
scared. Run away.
It was nice meeting you.
I gotta go rape a duck.
Have a good one, Danny. Good to see you.
Oh, yeah.
It was nice meeting you.
We hit a
Thank you so
nerve. We
much.
hit a nerve, Danny.
Nice
There's
seeing you.
something you're hiding?
Always a pleasure.
Were you there that
Adam,
year?
Duck
Adam
fucker.
sending you love.
Oh.
All the Adams. Adam Dunn, Adam Brooke, Terry. Great meeting you. I'm gonna follow up with you, for sure.
We'll
And
see you in
yeah,
Vegas.
you guys. Peace out. Happy weekend. Happy Friday. Happy Labor Day.
Happy Duck
And
Day.
keep on growing.
If we only
Have a
knew
good
how to
one,
get rid
Grow
of
your
him.
own. Grow your own, and come to Champs.
Yes.
Yep. Now we know how to get rid of Danny. We just have to talk about
Duck
ducks.
fucking.
Yeah, that's it.
Duck
Danny's out.
fucking is good. Have a good night, Danny.
Peace.
Appropriate response.
Did one of your kids
That's
just walk
awesome.
in?
That's
Holy
awesome.
shit.
Hey, I never said this was a family show.
I
did
never said. I didn't know this was a thing.
You
that
didn't know
could
this
be
was possible?
done.
This
no.
has been done. It's happened. The fact that the Queen had to come out and say it, that's
Right.
the craziest part. It wasn't like just some random person. It was the Queen. Like that, it went all the way up to the fucking top, tippity top, to the woman in charge.
This
And
is
she was like,
You know, Mark,
scary.
I cannot deal with this. I have to.
I always
It's a
thought
lucky duck.
Lucky duck. Oh.
I
what
always
happened?
thought that when
Magic
we
trick
finally said
disappeared.
something to get us kicked off of every podcasting streaming service, it was going to be me that said it.
No.
I'm just happy it was him. You know?
Wow.
Yeah,
Hey. Only the best.
only the best.
That
Only
was
the
a-
best around here. But no, it's Queen's Day is definitely. It was the
Amazing.
craziest party because it was like the Dutch let loose on that one day like crazy, and everywhere there was a street party somewhere. And that's when I first came there. I got there the first time I went there. I got there in September, and every single person I met. This is in '89, and everybody was like, "Oh, you're here for Queen's Day?" And I was like, "Everybody keeps talking about this fucking
Fucking
Queen's Day.
Queen's
I got to come back for this fucking thing." So I booked my ticket when I came back for April. I got there on April 16th. No, it wasn't the 20. No, April 19th. Sorry, it was really close to April 420, not pre-420 days, but it was April 19th, and I had 10 days to get my shit together. You know what I mean? So then I went to Homegrown Fantasy, bought a couple ounces of weed, rolled up a bunch of joints, got ready. You know, it was like, that's it. You can sell joints on. Just the fact that you could sell joints on the street, not
Right.
really, but you could. You know what I mean? Like, I thought everything was legal because I was just like that dumb American. Right?
That American.
I was like, yeah. So I
That
had
16-year-old.
so I rolled tulip joints, right? I rolled those tulip joints. I was like, I'm in Holland. Fucking roll tulip joints. And everybody's like, what's a tulip joint? I'm like, you don't know what a tulip? Oh, well, let me show you, Dutch guy. You know? So then I rolled all these tulip joints, and I had a sign that said, wrap tulips around these tulips. 10
Oh,
guilders or something.
wow.
So I undercharged so much that people bought me out within 30 seconds because the first guy got it and opened it up and realized that it was pure weed, and I put a couple grams in each one,
Right.
and they were like, dude, just go buy go buy all of those, right? So then this guy goes, I'll take them all. And I was like, yeah, I am the best salesman ever. And then another guy comes up, he goes, you know that they just took them around the corner and now they're going to roll like 100 joints and
100
sell them
joints,
for
right.
$5 each. And I was like, oh, because they mix them with tobacco too. So
Yeah,
for
they
them, it
do
was like
split.
a gangbusters. Like each tulip was like 10 joints for them and they could sell it. So I was like, oh, so I learned my lesson of, Plus, I worked on them all night long, right? I was working on them all fucking night, 2 days or something, building them. And I watched these guys just like rip them.
But wait a sec.
Not a single person smoked one. Nobody cared.
Were you happy
Damn.
with selling them that?
Yeah, I
or-
was, but then I was sad because I was like, I thought it was going to be a big. Like I was like, what? They're not even smoking them? I was like, oh, that was a big waste of time. I should have just sold weed.
No, you should have just gone and made more. Gone.
It took
You
me
know.
2 days to make them. That was the whole point. It was one of those classics where I was like, yeah, I got
Adam
all
has a cool ass creation.
Anyway, but then over the years it got apparent that no, you're not allowed to sell weed on the streets. And you're not allowed to sell clones, even though everybody was. There was like Vondel Park had guys in the middle of Vondel Park just selling all these different clones. I was like, this is amazing. I couldn't believe it. I was like, when the first year I was there, that was it. I was sold on the whole concept of everything because it was just like, well, this is it.
Yeah.
What's
Never
the
moving.
market?
I'm never going back to America. You know.
What's the market in the pipe near
What is the market?
Katsu?
What do you mean? Oh, Albert Kuip?
Albert
Yes,
Kuip.
Albert Kuip.
Yes, the Albert Kuip
I
style.
love that place.
Yep, it's a Turkish market. Cannaseur right around the corner. You got the best. That was my favorite coffee shop, for sure. You go by there too, or Adam?
I
You ever go
I'm
by?
pretty beholden to places that take care of me.
Oh,
And I mainly hang out between the greenhouse and Bagheera and a place called The Hit, which used to be The Spot.
Yeah, you can just stop at the greenhouse in Bagheera. They're the most comfortable to hang out in.
Yeah, I mean, I know people that work there, so I don't pay for drinks, and I can sit there and smoke weed, and bring my own.
Okay.
You know, and I get to look at this pisser all day when I sit there. So.
oh, beautiful.
Oh.
No. In their defense, it is about 10
It's just
feet
to the
off.
left
You're
of
not
where-
really looking right at it.
Right. I look more across the street to
Yeah.
Rosie's
Yeah.
and the bar, but it's a great place.
Rick's
I find
Cafe.
interesting is so many coffee shops are
Rick's.
gone because the government basically forced them out, as compared to what there was when I first started going every year.
Well, what Danny
Oh yeah,
said.
they're not like letting people sell them to other people. They have this whole like they used to be like you could give it to your family. Now they're cutting that out. Now they're like you can't even do that.
They also chased out all the criminals.
Oh well, there you go. And then nobody's left. That's it.
Right.
You ran out
They
of
got
people.
rid of but they got rid of a lot of the what they call black money as opposed to white money. But all the clubs that were owned by the Hells Angels, those type of groups that weren't legal in any way, shape, or form, they pushed all those people out. And cleaned up the red light district, shut down, I don't know, probably a third of the windows.
Yeah, it was it was a social experiment too, where they were like, we're going to put all these students' artwork in there and instead, and it was like, so you took out prostitutes and put in some shitty art and expect people to like, that's going to make everybody happy or something. And so even the locals were like, dude, we'd rather have the chicks there than that. It was like, this is pathetic.
Yeah, because then patrons resort to ducks, and you don't want that to happen.
You don't want that. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Definitely don't want that.
But no, in general, the Dutch, how is it going with that whole superstructure red light thing they were trying to build down at the water? Did you ever see that or heard about it?
Yeah, I don't think that it is.
It didn't work out, obviously.
Yeah, they
tried to move the whole. They went on to move the whole red light to one building.
Yeah, but that was never going to happen.
Oh, I already knew that.
They recommended it. The thing I found interesting is they banned the tours. So you would see these guys walking around with little Japanese flags in the air and 30 Japanese people walking behind them. You'd see a guy with some British flag and 30 Brits walking behind them, and they'd walk them through the red light district. And they banned all that. They got rid of some of the big shows and things like that. It's changed a lot, but it's still Amsterdam. I tell people,
banana bar must survive, though. I guess it has to survive. Come on, the banana bar.
I look
Can't get rid of the
forward to
banana
going.
bar.
Shout out to Famous Ferry.
Yes, sir.
Yes, very.
Shout out to Ferry for sure. No, it's like
When's the best time of year to go?
Well, I tell you that
September.
depends on where you're from, because I'm from Detroit and I go in November because it's like October weather and it just continues on for me. So I have 60 days of October weather and I don't mind the
You think it's
cold
Halloween
and the
for
wet.
life or
It's
something?
better than what I got at home.
I'm
And
from
it's off
Colorado.
season.
Okay. I could do
Like
that.
everywhere, the best time of the year is when there's less people there. Because otherwise it's like too much. It gets crazy there.
That's how it was in
But
Italy.
truthfully, I like to tell people, you're smart enough that if you're going to Amsterdam, it's a 7 to 10 day trip. You need to plan on spending 2 or 3 days in museums, because if you're going to travel that far, you might as well go look at the history of Europe and all these fascinating paintings, especially when you can do it stoned off your ass.
There is that.
So you have some cultural
That's the one
experience.
thing. That's the one thing when the first smart shops opened up over there and started selling mushrooms. I was like,
Yep.
Conscious Dreams was the first one, and that was like
Yep.
that was it was kind of cool because it was like my friend's store was right next door to it. They had a clothing store right next door, so I kind of watched from the beginning where they just had like a couple mushrooms, very secret, kind of almost like no advertising, no nothing, and then it slowly developed, and then it just blew up. And
I used to.
Yeah, it was
My
crazy.
big thing was I stayed at the Winston Hotel on the Warmerstraat.
Oh,
And I would
Winston.
go around the corner, get some mushrooms, because everything closes at midnight. All coffee shops are closed. There's nowhere to go. There's a couple late night food places, but the red light's kind of happening. So I'd go grab some mushrooms, take the mushrooms, go wander around the red light for 2-3 hours, just wandering.
That's your
Tripping
story,
balls.
huh? You're
Yeah,
sticking with
just
that one?
wandered and never stopped.
Just
I never
wandered.
stopped. Never
Always
never,
window shopping. I
Kept
mean, not
moving.
shopping. I mean, I was just
moving
walking at the
along.
windows.
Keep
I'll
moving.
take two.
It's funny though because like Amsterdam is so fucked up already, and if you take even this, like the amount of mushrooms that people would sell as a dose were like, I'd be telling people, dude, you should split that in half, if that even, because I already know like you didn't need 25 grams of fresh mushrooms. That's what they would sell you, and they'd be like, yeah, you should take 2, because they were just like trying to make sales all the time. And we were always selling, when we were selling mushrooms, we were like, trying to give people really good advice, and usually it was like, hey, I would just split this amongst all of you guys and see, and they'd come back and be like, thank God you did, because we would have fucking lost our minds. 'Cause one friend was like, no, I need to eat the whole pack, and they're like, and they never made it out of the fucking hotel.
Yeah,
you know what I
they
mean? It was like they're like too fucking stressed out. But yeah, Amsterdam is psychedelics in Amsterdam is good, but it can also have a twisted side to it, because the thing about Amsterdam is it is a seedy place, regardless of if it might see the nice side of it, but you can really see the dark side of it really quickly. All it takes is one mistake, you know what I mean? And you're like, oh shit, this town is not that great.
Just as you say that the cops
That's
can see you
anywhere though,
on
right?
the cops see you on a CCTV. Somebody who wants to do you wrong
They
will
know
see you
everything
in a
over there. That's the
vulnerable
crazy
state.
part about Holland is it's
Well,
such a small place, and they have everything dialed in. Like when
dialed
you do,
in.
When you
Well,
do,
that's the interesting thing.
Yeah.
They got rid of all the Charlie boys, the guys that used to stand around
Charlie.
and
Charlie.
Charlie.
Charlie,
What's
Charlie,
a
right?
Charlie?
Mark, you know what that meant?
Coke.
No,
Yeah, Coke.
Coke?
Charlie's Coke. Yes.
Yeah.
Really?
I'm an expert. I'm an expert
Yeah.
out there. Come on. Yes. Yes. Psst.
Yes.
Charlie.
You're-
Charlie.
Come on.
That's Coke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
what were the heroin boys selling then?
Henry.
They would say H or just they would go to that point, but no, Charlie is Coke.
They were everywhere.
Yeah.
Is my point, and
Oh,
they
no,
got rid of them. They literally got rid of them.
That's good. That's good. I mean, the thing is, it's like people were like after midnight. If you bought hash on the street, which some people did,
It was a ripoff.
it was 100% guaranteed not real, because there was
Right.
nobody on the street selling real hash. What they would do is they would have a big hunk of fake hash, and they would have a little piece of real hash, and they stick it on the end of the fake hash, and they'd burn that under your nose as you're like, hey, you want some hash? And they'd burn it. You'd be like, oh, that actually smells pretty good. 100, it'd be like 100, right? And you look at this huge piece, and you'd be like, 100 for that? Oh, okay. Boom, 100. And the guy would like, hey, can I just take a little tiny piece off from my smoke? Oh, yeah, here. And he'd peel off the real piece, and then he'd go, and you'd be off with your little fake piece. And next day they come to me and go like, oh, I bought this on the street. And I'd be like, and you smoked it? They're like, yeah, it didn't really work. And I'm like, dude, it's not even hash.
Not even real
Like,
hash.
That's fucking bullshit right there. So, yeah. Never
Lettuce
buy on the
hash.
streets in Amsterdam.
No, I'm not buying on the streets anywhere. That's
It's,
scary.
It's a guaranteed ripoff.
Guaranteed.
You don't get in trouble if you have fake drugs. If you have
Right.
real drugs, you get in trouble. So if the guys are selling you fake drugs, they go, oh, it's not real, and they don't have that. I was like, you should be charging them double for giving you fake shit. They should, if they have real shit, you should charge them less. You should be like, all right, at least he was real, and you weren't trying to rip him off. You know what I mean? But when you're ripping off and you're selling drugs, that's like that's two crimes, too many. You know?
Yeah, too many.
Oh, wow.
I will tell you the wild thing I experienced was while transporting way too much in the way of drugs.
Allegedly.
I got pulled over by the police.
Okay.
A police van was slowing down. I couldn't imagine why it was going so slow. And then all of a sudden, two bike cops finally caught up to me
They're
and
the worst.
pulled me over.
Oh,
And they were like talking to me in Dutch. I'm like, I'm American. I only speak English.
Good call.
And they started with this whole procedure. And what I found fascinating was at no time was I concerned that I had too much or drugs at all on me. So like, that wasn't my concern. What are you guys pulling me over for? And they're like, well, you got to wear a helmet. I'm like, well, you didn't used to have to wear a helmet. Well, now you have to wear a helmet.
Is this on
Okay.
this is on a moped?
A moped, yeah. Yeah, they changed the law, and now
weird.
you got to wear helmets.
Yep.
And he's like, you can walk it home or have someone bring you a helmet. I said, I'm crippled. I can't walk it home. That's why I ride the damn thing. He's like, well, then have someone bring you a helmet. I said, okay. I made a phone call to nobody. Said, hey, can you bring me a helmet? All right, I'll wait for you. And I said, yeah, he's going to bring me a helmet. And I just went and sat on my scooter and waited till they rode away. Waited a couple minutes, got on my scooter, went to the Albert Heijn, went home. But
You are a fucking hardened criminal, bro.
Goodness.
I didn't realize
at
you were
point
so
was I
gangster.
concerned that I had anything on me.
No, I know they are literally like Keystone cops over there a lot of times, where you're just like,
Yep.
why? Because they always have young guy, always like. So you have the white shirts, right? There's all different levels. The white shirts are the young ones, and they're always like nervous and fucking and then you got like a sergeant with them or something, and they're always on these little training missions.
Yep.
And I would always find it hilarious because it was like you could see like, oh, it's springtime, there comes all the young cops, and they'd always come in with like way too big of a hat on, and their shirt was all like, it was like, oh my god, these guys are like out of their elements so much. Plus they're in they'd take them into the red light or take them into some place where it was just literally full of nothing but criminals, and these guys
Right.
wouldn't have a clue about how to deal with anybody because it was like, it's like, it's funny. I mean, but it is a big village. That's the one thing about Amsterdam is once you realize it's just a giant village. That's what I was saying before. They really know everything. Like when you do get pulled in, like I've gotten in trouble there a couple times, and when you did, it was like, oh fuck, you really got. They were like, you just like I had one time where I got busted, and it was because the neighbor was selling heroin, and it had nothing to do with me, but I was in the same building, and the cops knew that I'd gotten kind of dragged into this whole thing, and they pretended to like write up something. They didn't even do it. Like I watched them like not write up a report and just pretend like he had a couple keys and then just started asking me a lot of questions about other things that had nothing to do with it. And then at the end I was like, so what's going to go on? I got to go to court or something? The guy was like, Adam, come here. You just go get yourself some new lights. And I was like, okay, I like this place. This is all right. And this is like in 91 or something like that. So it was like they hadn't had that many Americans growing weed getting busted yet. It wasn't like a plethora of them, but then later it was like once they'd seen enough, they were kind of like over it too. So, but there was that moment in time where they kind of, their whole thing is they know there's growers because they have to supply the shops. Otherwise the shops have no weed to sell. And they have, and like in the beginning they were cool with the, the single mom selling weed to the shop, subsidizing her income. But then they got weird and they started saying, okay, if you get busted, you're going to take away your house. And then that's when everybody stopped growing like that. All those people that couldn't afford to lose their house were like, oh, I'm out. I'm not going to do it. So then it went straight to criminals. Then it was just basically like other people subleasing other people's places, growing under their spot, paying them extra or whatever. And so the whole system there didn't make sense because of that. Like it kind of, everything made sense except for the growing. We were like, so how are you getting this? Like, it just magically appears. And it's just like, that's not a good system. You know what I mean? Like, that's where they fucked up. And then over here, it's kind of the opposite. Over here, the only thing they can't seem to get together is the social aspects of smoking weed in a fucking coffee shop. It's like, that's the only thing they can do good over there, and it's the only thing they can't do over here. And then over here, they got the growing thing down, but they don't have the fucking distribution side. It's weird. That's the easiest part. Like, all you got to do is let people hang out, smoke weed, again, clean spot, good ventilation, whatever, good entertainment.
Thank you.
Simple. Not hard. Not hard. But one day we'll get it together, like you were saying before. If we can just patchwork all the different states, the best of Massachusetts and the best of Michigan, and then come up with a thing that we all agree on. And then if they want to go federal with it, that's cool, and we're good. But it has to be good rules that make sense, not like let's take the most draconian rules of all of them.
I don't know that we need federal rules. They just need their tax. That's all they want is their tax.
Well, whoa. That's what they wanted. And then somebody at a pharmaceutical company told them that with spending a lot of money on them, that if they turn it into something that they can control, they'll make a whole lot more money.
So I hate to say it because I'm an ass and I'll come back and say, I told you so. And I'll be happy to be told that I was wrong. But I can't believe that the U.S. government, even under the president we have today, is going to make that kind of move anytime soon. Because just the concept of rewriting the laws so that they work under some other schedule, and they floated a Schedule 6 at one point or something where it was just,
the other thing too is it's all of the treaties that they have that are based on their rules that were in place will no longer be in place. Therefore,
once somebody makes a decision, it then has to go to the budget office.
We have huge things to change.
That's going to kill it.
That right there, exactly.
From your brother, I agree with you. We're all for the status quo.
So kick it
but
down
they're
the
just
road.
threatening when they say it out loud and everybody starts talking about it, and they're hosting $1 million a plate dinners and fundraisers for this. It's tough to ignore it.
I know it's tough to ignore it, but as an activist, and listen, I sit on the board of Michigan Normal. We have some issues, a saliva test law they're trying to get passed in the state. Our organization came out with a statement, and that was it. Other organizations literally went and lobbied. And I like what the veterans are doing in the lobbying, don't get me wrong. My point is, I think there are some issues as an activist we don't need to waste our time on. They're just not going to get them passed. They're just not going to get it
I
done.
understand.
It's like
what
when
you're
your friend
saying
says he's going to show up and you know he's not going to
You
show
know
up.
he's
So
not
he's
gonna
like,
be there.
I'm not even going to fucking do nothing for that because he ain't going to show up anyway.
I know he's
and then they
right.
don't show up and you're like, I knew he wasn't going to show up. And occasionally,
noticed-
There's
if they
also
do,
that.
it's mayhem. It's mayhem.
Right.
You showed up? Oh, fuck. I got nothing. I got nothing for you.
Hey, that's
Well,
like if,
sometimes that's how shit gets through. And not sometimes. A lot of times that's how shit gets through when everybody leaves at the end of the day. That last 10, 15 minutes where everybody is.
Well, it's just scary if they just like decide, like, you know what, we're going to do it at midnight
well,
on a
they've,
Sunday when no one's paying attention. You know what I
they've
mean?
done that in
Paying
Michigan.
attention.
That's how they.
It's
They've
usually
done
when
that?
we're
Yeah,
doing
that's
our
okay.
show.
They've
That's how
tried
they-
that in Michigan.
They did it.
What?
The midnight sesh or something? Yeah. Yeah, they did. That's how the original 1937 law was enacted. It was on October 1st, 1937, and they did it at midnight in behind
Right.
closed
In the middle
doors.
of the night.
So it's
Now,
like,
the interesting thing about that law,
and they made
it
a
was
tax
declared-
stamp, and then you're like, okay, and where is this tax stamp? Well,
Well,
we're not
the
going to tell
interesting
you
thing
where to
about
get
that
it.
was
Like that would be
that the interesting thing about that tax law in 37 is that Leary versus U.S., aka Timothy Leary, got that law to be
expunged.
deemed unconstitutional, and that's when they came up with the CSA and the list of the schedule. And I was told by Keith Stroop, who was coming to Hash Bash one year, that the way marijuana got to be a Schedule 1 is that everything was a Schedule 1. And then they started removing things from Schedule 1 and putting them where they were appropriate and where they were supposed to be. And then the report that Nixon did on cannabis came out. And
Squashed
like
it.
it came out on Friday, and Monday they were going to come back and start moving the rest of the things. And they left cannabis at the top.
Great.
Wild.
It's because it was M.
I
and
heard
they
that
were
also.
Well, but
alphabetically
the
so.
same thing happened during the Carter administration when they were about to decriminalize it federally, and one of Jimmy Carter's relatives, his son or something, somebody got busted for cocaine, and they just
Yeah.
called it all drugs,
Yeah, I remember.
and you can't be soft
I
on drugs,
remember, I remember.
President Carter, and he didn't move forward. We were like 2 weeks away.
No, that's funny. If you and you can see that if you look at some of the old High Times and some of the old things, you'd be like, oh, it looks like they're like just at the end. That's when it was absolutely insane too, because they were kind of like High Times didn't give a fuck back then. They were like as much coke as there was weed at that time in the
Yes,
magazine.
sir.
And those are and like you'd be like double nostril fucking. You can buy some double nostril straws and all sorts of crazy
yeah.
shit and little. Remember the guys? Remember the
Really?
what were those?
Oh, their head
Deering,
shop
was it
sold
Deering?
coke?
Deering was the
Bearing grinders.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that guy from Deering, the crazy story behind him was that he got, first of all, he was a fucking complete base addict, right? So he lived the life. It wasn't like he was making these things for no reason. He was doing
Base.
ounces of coke every day, free base. But what was crazy was all those things were made out of Bakelite, and he went to the phone company, to AT&T when they or Bell when they fucking did their thing, and they were upgrading all the phones. He just went there and said, I'll take this entire pile of Bakelite off your hands. And they were like, sure, here you go. Here's a couple $1,000 for doing it. Thanks, And he ended up making those Deering grinders that were like $70 back in the 70s when $70
Right.
was like $400. And it was free. Everything he made, all he had to do was make the molds and just pump them out. So that guy was making so much money, but he was also smoking ounces of coke every day too. So don't know if he made it too
Wow.
far down the road, but it was those things are crazy because I don't think they still available. They still make those or what? I don't think. so.
Deering?
Yeah, are they still in business?
I haven't seen a Deering.
How do you spell
I've
it?
seen other companies.
It's like Deering, Dering.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was crazy because remember they were always the same color too. They were that kind
Yeah.
of weird like aqua green something.
Aqua green, right?
Aqua green.
Yeah.
Yep, you were a professional if you had one of those.
But yeah, you
I see one on eBay.
Oh, how much?
Do
How much?
you?
Let's see. Deering grinder, $7.89. Plastics.
Plastic.
Wait.
$789? No.
$7.89.
Oh, I was gonna say, Jesus.
Metal. Oh wait.
Is it an original? Can't be an original.
I don't know.
Not for $7.
I don't think so. It's like a
I was gonna say it went
conical
from-
looking type
Yeah,
thing,
little
right?
conical. Yeah,
okay.
conical. Is it like aquamarine
Here,
color?
hold on. Let me send it over here and we'll look at it.
But
Yeah.
those are the
I wanna
funniest.
see
Those are
it.
actually the best ones to look. Those years are the best to look at the ads. Like the
Yes.
the articles are
So-
good too, but the ads are even funnier.
Do you remember the extractor that used to be in the back of High Times?
I
the
have
gold?
one. I have one. I have one. The gold ones. It's the it's the Tie Power. It's called.
Right. So
Yes. I got
years
one.
ago, before there was any such thing as dabbing, some guy shows up at my pre-hash bash party from Cali with a little 2-gram jar of the oil,
There it is.
and he's like putting it on a pin and letting everybody hit it, and he's literally knocking down the room as he's walking around the circle. And there are these people that I know smoke copious amounts of weed, literally sitting down after
on their
doing it.
pockets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
That's what Adam does to me every week.
oh, listen,
It's funny because I had
Melting by the end of the show.
it's in Amsterdam still. I didn't bring it back with me, but it's still there in our storage locker.
that's great. I actually,
And you know,
It's interesting
you know,
how
it's, you know what the crazy
concentrate-
part about that thing though is it looks so high tech, right? You're looking at it, it's
Right.
all. It's got these. It looks like something out of Star Trek, right? It's got like these 3 discs, and then it goes down. But when you look internally, all it is a light bulb. It's literally like
Right.
a easy bake oven. It's like an easy bake oven of hash oil, and that whole thing at the top, it's all filled with charcoal, and all it does is the you have a little like. It's like literally like a soup can. It's so archaic. It's like a soup can hanging by 2 handles that you put your glass. You put a piece of glass in there with the product, and then you basically have the little can. You have the light bulb underneath it, and it heats it up that much, just enough that it basically vaporizes it off, and the vapors go up and drip back down and end up at the bottom of the container. So then you take the top part out, you end up with your hash oil at the bottom, and you know it's super inefficient compared to what people are doing nowadays. But like when I got it, it still had hash oil stuck at the bottom of it or whatever. So I was like, well, I think that actually it works, you know.
works.
But it was, and in Holland, the whole thing about hash oil, though, hash oil is super duper illegal. Like it's so
Super.
illegal that if you get caught with it, it's like having hard drugs. It's like having heroin. It's the same, you know what I mean? So because back in the 70s, a lot of people were making hash oil in Amsterdam, and they live in those apartments, and all those apartments have gas. Everything's gas, right? So you have,
Right.
3 floors of people with a pilot light. And if you have a guy on the top floor and he decides he wants to make hash and the vapors are coming off of that, you're going to blow up the fucking bit. So they were the original Botards, Amsterdam,
Wow.
back in the day. They blew a couple of apartments up. Neville actually was in a fire, in a lab
Yeah.
fire too. He was part of one of those. Botard, he might be the original Botard of the industry, but in general, there was fires
Maybe.
all the time, and so they were like, you cannot make, so it was from a safety point of view, from the manufacturing, not so much about the quality of the hash, you know what I mean? It wasn't like, oh, this stuff's so strong, it's
Right.
going to do anything. They just didn't want people making hash oil because they'd seen so many fuck-ups, along the way.
But it's funny because concentrates are still a big no-no, of course. And there's a couple shops that actually sell them.
I know, they don't give a fuck. It's like,
Right. And we sit and do dabs out in public, on the terraces, no problem. But
it's on the books, though.
course.
It's literally on the books. Like, you guys could get in trouble technically because
Right.
they could go, it says right here, yes, oil concentrate.
Yeah, but these people,
Couple years
they
ago,
fly
they-
with torches
but
and
they had no idea
gas.
about quality or anything like that.
No.
And I know for a fact they got some stuff that we consider food grade,
Yeah.
and they were they were jarring it up and having a blast.
What?
Last time I was there, everybody wanted to show me their CRC and ask me, what do you think about our CRCs? It look good?
Yeah.
And I'm like, people back home would be laughing at you.
Right. They're like, look at my hot dog water.
Yeah, look.
Right.
Look, smell my hot dog water. How do you think? How's that smelling? You're like, ow.
And,
that's-
now we've gotten to
baby.
the point where you talk to people and you're like, hey, you want? And they're, no, I only do rosin, thank you.
Yeah. No, I know.
Okay.
That's the classic. It's same. And here, again, it always comes down to people making a bad quality product, giving something a bad name. Whereas it doesn't mean that the product is bad. It means that person sucks. Can't make it. So there's been bad rosin out there too. I've seen plenty of
Forever.
rosin I
Right.
wouldn't smoke. I'm like, ugh, I don't know. That looks pretty bad. That's food grade right out of the gate.
Right.
And-
If you're old enough, you remember that you were smoking some 7 to 9, maybe 12% brown brickweed coming out of Mexico.
That
Shout out to
How about
James
the,
Bean.
or you're smoking
Well-
your multi-generational joint. Like, how about those?
Right.
Remember
Well,
those?
Oh.
and then, but then what happened
Generation,
is,
bro.
you have to understand though that during the Reagan years, those warehouses in Mexico didn't empty out; they stayed full. So in the '90s, when they started to empty out, all of a sudden, the Mexican brown weed went to Mexican green weed, and at the same time, BC bud was moving in from the north, and we were seeing stuff that we'd never seen before. But we all knew that
you guys
it
are
wasn't
right there,
as good
too.
as what we could grow.
Michigan must have gotten just annihilated with fucking beasters back in the day. I can only imagine
Well,
how much.
Michigan is Michigan is actually well known because we were the point where Neville distributed seeds from. So we have had good genetics here for a long time.
Unfortunately,
I feel that's how
it had to come
Colorado is.
through that douchebag. But besides
Well,
that,
yeah.
besides that,
But that started the whole process of growers here. And because our climate is what it is, there is really no outdoor season here. You're lucky if you get one. This year it happens to be crazy big, and we don't know why. But the people are going to end up harvesting before they normally would because they're going to finish before they normally would. But normally it's indoor, and our indoor has been superb for the 40 years I've been involved.
well, plus I think Michigan had like a lot of engineer-minded people and stuff compared to some other states. You know, it's like, well, they all came from,
That's true.
you know, car industries and this industry and that industry, and it's like, oh, we're just growing weed, no big deal. It's another industry, you know. And then you mix that with agricultural knowledge, is huge, you know. So yeah, Michigan definitely put out a lot of heat, that's for sure. And it's like
A lot of heat.
It's always interesting.
Which spoils you, I will tell you that. I smoked
I
a
can
buddy of mine
imagine.
grew Super Silver Haze for 12 years. And
don't tell Steve.
why?
He'll charge you. He'll charge you extra just for smoking his.
No,
You know that's all me, right? That's Neville.
I know exactly what it is. We've been friends that long.
It's like Wendy grew that back in the blah blah blah. You know, it's like, yes, we know. 100%. Yeah, no, it's the best part about Holland back in the day was the fact that if they didn't exist, we would be fucked right now because they at least corral, you know, between Neville and different groups out there, they corralled genetics that would have been lost in the drug war along the way, like even like the Silver Pearl when that first so when I was working at Sensi, it was pre Neville coming to them, and the guys out in Seattle were growing it because they're the ones who gave it to Neville, and then they escaped Seattle, came to Amsterdam, brought the cut with them, so all of a sudden we had the cut from the seeds that Sensi hadn't even got yet, and they were like, how the hell did you get this? It was just like, it was such a small world, but it was like, you know, that's like Seattle, you know, there's certain spots in America that just fucking, because of the weather, became just like Holland. You know, you can't grow outside.
Right.
You're forced indoors, and year after year you just refine it. You know what I mean? Oh, well, now we upgraded this or we did that. You know, and by the time you got it really rolling, it's a machine. You know, and Colorado's similar too because it's got extremes. Anywhere that's extreme, when it's like, you know, like in Florida, same thing. It's just the opposite. It's so fucking hot you can't grow out. You know, like you have to have ACs and fucking multiple ACs and backup ACs and.
Well, and that's one of the things I had a grow shop for a while, and I used to tell people that, you know, and we mentioned Ed Rosenthal earlier. Ed writes these great grow books, and then you read them, and you can't do that in Michigan, even when he talks about indoor growing, because he's indoor growing in Oakland, California. He's not indoor growing in Michigan. His intake air in January isn't 5 below zero.
Right. Yeah, it's not. His pipes aren't dripping water as they.
Right,
as
and
it
people
comes
just
in.
don't understand the simple science behind it, and how you can use the basic gardening that's being taught in these books, but you have to know your environment that you're in, because your environment totally changes everything.
Yeah. Books can only get you so far, that's for sure. And it's like, you know, that's the hardest part about growing is fucking starting. That's it. Everything else is easy. You'll figure it out. You know, just starting is the hardest part.
Plants are simple. They grow to their least limiting factor, which 100% of the time will be you. Right. You won't be able to provide them with something they need.
Yeah.
So it's really simple. Yeah. And when guys used to come into my shop and they'd have a piece of paper in their hand and they'd be like, you know, I need this stuff. I could sometimes look at the list and know who they were learning from.
Oh, that's Jorge. Hey, tell Jorge I said hi.
Oh, worse than that. I knew local growers that they were getting their
then even
information
worse.
from.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I
listen,
bet,
do you
yeah.
understand that you can't set up the same room that he does because he lives in a different size house than you do and the air pressure is different?
What do you mean by
sauce.
different size?
Well, he's in a 2,500 square foot and you're in a 1,200 square foot.
Yeah, Dave.
Yeah, what do you mean? What do you mean by that? Why can't I do the exact same thing?
I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm sure you partially miss and definitely don't miss dealing with all those customers at retail levels. because-
Not at all. I did have a great experience where.
I mean, it's fun. It is fun to talk to
Yes,
people all
it
day.
is. I had a great experience.
Rosenberg.
where a
You
federal
seem perfect
judge-
for that.
I had a federal judge from Detroit who I knew because my family was in a leather and luggage store business, and we sold briefcases to these judges. So I knew this judge personally. And he walks into my grow shop one day and he says, "Hey, this is really cool. Can you tell me about growing marijuana?" And I said, "Your Honor, if I didn't know who you were, you'd have been thrown out right now. We would have physically pushed you out the door, assuming that you were a cop." I said, and he looked at me. I said, "You wouldn't believe it, but we can't even talk about that." And I owned up to it because I knew the guy. I said, "Every product in here is intended for growing marijuana. But I can't be honest
then a
with
big
my
net came
customers
over
and
your
tell
head
them
and
what to
said,
use."
We got him.
And
We
that's
got
when
him.
it came down. The
He finally
CCTV
admitted
was
it.
on you.
No, I know, and it's funny because I went to Florida before I went to Amsterdam, so around '88. I was in Florida at this place called Gold Coast Hydroponics. It was like this little tiny. It was like I walked in to a movie set because it was like one fat guy sitting at a table, like with his and he was like couldn't even sit up fucking straight. He was so like And he's like, "Hey, dude, can I help you?" And I was just like, "Hell fucking no, I'm out of here." Like, I walked out. I was like, this is such, it was like so crazy how
Shady looking,
it was
huh?
the most shady. Because it was like one of those deals where, maybe it's cool, but I didn't look cool. It looked like the kind of place where you go in and they're like, "Yeah, just bring the truck around the back." And you're like, "Okay." And you're like,
Okay.
"What?" Yeah, it was weird. Yeah, so things have
We'll
changed.
take the truck too, kid.
And yeah, I was always jealous when I was living in Holland because in America, even though it was illegal, A, they were making more money than me, but B, all their grow equipment was plug and play. And in Holland, it was like, here's a ballast, go wire it up yourself, kid. You know what I mean? And you'd be like, what do I do with this? And yeah.
Positive, negative.
Yeah, you think so. You think so, but I was selling those lights to people, and constantly people would come back and be like, "Meh." Yeah, it's tough. Well, we got to do some ads. Speaking of gross stuff, and
Perfect transition.
perfect transition. Love having you guys on the show. It's always fun.
Pleasure to meet you two.
Terry got thrown into the deep end just by being curious. I was like, "Oh, you want to come on the show tomorrow?" I was like, "Perfect.
Yeah.
That's good."
Well, thank you guys for having me. And Adam, I'm up in Michigan a lot. I'll have to swing by, and I've been actually trying to get all the normal state leads. So when we go to different states, we can do stuff there. So
Sure.
I need to talk to you about that also.
No problem. I'm on social media, Adam Elbrook. I'm easy.
Okay.
We'll link you guys up. We'll link you guys
I have
up.
a Googleable name, I tell people.
He's pretty much on Instagram doing some sort of live every day.
Every day.
Oh, nice.
Okay. Wonderful.
Thank you guys. Okay,
We
we'll
appreciate you.
Appreciate
see
you,
you
folks.
soon, and I'll be chatting with
Thank
you,
you.
Terry, before you go anyway, and we'll throw you some more pointers and ideas. So
Okay. Sounds good.
we got a whole month. All right, sounds good.
Heck yes.
Right
Have a
on.
good night.
Peace.
All right. Good night.
Peace.
And we'd like to give a shout out to where it all goes down. So High Cafe, sohighcafe.com, 4300 West Alameda.
And it's now
Hum.
Viper Pit Barbecue or Taqueria
It's-
and Barbecue.
Yes, exactly.
So
It's a
good.
taqueria.
It's everything.
Yeah, they got
It's everything.
burritos, they
It's
got
anything and
tortas, they
everything.
got
What?
all that.
And I wish Mr. X would come on and tell us, but I will tell you, I watched him eat a hamburger the other day.
Oh, hamburguesa.
He crushed it. Like, crushed it so hard.
Right.
All of their food has always
So
been
there's an
spectacular.
extended
They're
menu.
still talking about
Extended
it. Yeah,
menu
people are
is
talking about
phenomenal.
how he crushed that hamburguesa.
Well, it lasted about 19 seconds. He just went. It was like the Tootsie Pop thing. How many licks does it take you? 3 bites. It was done.
1, 2.
Done.
I want to get through these ads so I can get some tacos to take home.
Me too, man. Me too.
SoHighCafe.com, 4300 West Alameda.
So high.
Ozo Coffee.
OzoCoffee.com. Thanks to Mark, we got the ad back up. I mean the coupon, so it's Done Deal 2025. It'll work every time you order for the rest of the year.
So I saw him going live.
It was
the other day.
mayhem
What was that?
without
What was
you
going
here.
on there? Was it
I know.
something fun going on?
It was some glitch. It just
Glitch?
It just didn't work.
What, live glitch? No, I'm talking about I saw him going live on my Instagram, but I didn't pay attention.
I didn't see that.
I didn't see what event they were doing, but they were doing something.
Oh, I don't know.
If you,
OzoCoffee.com.
if you love coffee as much as Mark now loves coffee after being on the Adam Dunn show long enough,
He didn't drink
drove
coffee.
him to coffee.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
not ever drinking coffee.
I didn't have caffeine in my diet at all.
No, you drank
didn't?
Coca-Cola.
No, back then, before when I first started the show,
Yeah.
I was completely off of caffeine, completely.
Caffeine-free. You were
at
like a
all.
virgin.
What did you do before?
You were like a virgin
a
of
caffeine
life.
virgin, or did you have like?
No, I was a
Red Bull.
caffeine. I was Red Bull before that, but then I got COVID the first time, I think. No, I got the flu before COVID, and I quit all caffeine at that point in
Is
time.
there a
But
reason why
yeah.
you got plastic on your fucking thing on your head? That-
Oh, it's just these headphones.
It looks like it looks like you know like
We're about
It's
to
like
return
I
them.
think Vinny
It's like-
keeps it on so I don't ruin the.
oh
the
it's Vinny.
headband.
Vinny keeps it on there.
Yeah,
For, he doesn't
it's-
like your greasy hair.
Yeah, yeah,
He's
yeah.
all,
I
wow,
think
Mark
he's
has got
like-
greasy
yeah,
hair. Let me put the
exactly, he's
grease.
got grease.
That's
protector on
racist.
there.
I can't get my Jerry curl in there.
That's racist.
But OzoCoffee.com, Done Deal 2025.
So good.
Hilarious.
Build a soil.
Hey, guess what? It's affiliate. We're an affiliate now.
There we go.
Not
BuildASoil.com.
just you,
What?
Duke Diamond.
855.
We are official affiliates. It's
877
official.
Oh,
from
I didn't
now
know
on.
that.
It's now. You can just go on there, put in Done Deal,
Done deal
and it works.
You get it.
Oh, it actually. Oh, wow.
It works.
They got new computers.
They upgraded.
That's good.
We forced them to upgrade
That's
everything.
good.
Yeah, now they're totally but there's a whole bunch of other affiliates, so you got to come to us. Go use our affiliates. 'Cause ours is the
Yeah,
best.
we're affiliates.
We're like OG affiliates, but we're the last ones on the
You
block.
affiliate me, I affiliate you.
I affiliate you. Affiliate you.
Oh, we're so kicked off.
BuildASoil.com. Check
Affiliate
it
that
out.
duck over there.
877
Use the Done Deal.
Affiliated ducks.
Yo tips.
Absolutely. See, Adam looked at Katie when she was about to smoke that yo tip without a tip on. I mean, the
Did
joint
you
without
see
a
the
yo
way
tip
he
on
looked
it.
at me? We can't even share
Absolutely.
joints.
I was like, you
He-
can try to smoke it if you wanted to, but I don't.
He was
He
like
looked
this.
Did you see the way he looked at me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
It's hard.
I get the same look when I try and hit it without a yo tip.
He's like,
Yeah.
you can't be raw
Yo
dogging a
tip.
joint these days.
No raw dogs around
No.
here. Not in this
You
spot.
cannot be raw dogging a joint. You need a yo tip to keep yourself safe. It's a better way to smoke. It makes every pre-roll smoke better while keeping
That
you
was-
safe. And winter season is upon us.
You're right.
Cold and flu.
There's no such thing.
No such thing, right?
That's
Nah.
bullshit.
COVID. Nope, no such thing. But anyway,
Hell no.
it is an amazing product. If you have a pre-roll company, you need to be packaging their product with your product. It'll just increase the value overall. You go to yotip.com or you go to Yo Products LLC on Instagram. Tell them you heard about it on the Adam Dunn Show.
HolosHealth.org, MMJ cards, and microdose mushroom therapy. Get the Done Deal.
Oh, look, we got Mark back now. He can do he can actually read.
I know. We
That's great.
missed. Oh, we missed you so much.
You gotta be so mad about it. That's not nice to say.
He hates it.
Dabx.com.
You know, he knows where his
Okay,
fucking
all
strong
right.
points are. It's not in reading. It's definitely not in reading.
What do you think about easy dabbing, Mark?
I mean, we're
dabbing
all,
has never been easier, Dave.
There
with
we
the
go.
dabx.com.
Dabx.com.
Enter Dunn Deal at checkout. You get
Oh, your
20% off
voice
your order.
Yeah.
The greatest dab rig out there right now.
we almost there?
And
Electronic-
if you have a rig that you
Are we
like,
almost
They've
there
gone
is
radio
fucking
silent,
crazy.
so
get
yes.
one of these.
It's about to happen.
MK Rocket
That's where
coming
you
soon.
shine, Mark.
And fill up this dabx with some 14 or
Oh,
bolder
yeah, that's
product.
Yes.
That's still Dave.
14erbolder.com. Done Deal at checkout. 20% off your order. You want to try those little vape pods. They call them a pixie. The
Yeah.
rosin is
Is
amazing.
that Best of
the
Boulder? Was that a
flower's
new
amazing.
thing, that Best of Boulder right there?
No, it would
No,
That's
that's
old.
been there for a
just
minute.
no, it happens like the
Is that a new one? That's what I'm wondering.
yes.
I don't
Yes.
know.
The best of the
2025.
best of the now.
I don't know how to read.
You got to try the truth.
You don't want to have like best of 2010 up there. That wouldn't be very good.
Hey,
Try the truth.
We should have
Try
tried
the truth.
Should have
Try
tried
the
15
DJ
years
ago,
ago,
bro.
We were
It's pretty
killing
good.
it. There it is, best of
14erbolder.com.
25. Wow, best overall.
You want to be careful about being bolder tonight? There's a football game.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah, because the second quarter, all that weed's going to be gone.
What
Yeah,
is
how
this whole
about
second
that?
quarter bullshit? you
I've
guys
never
talking
even
about?
heard of this ever in my life.
Yeah,
but
what are you talking about?
but no,
I'm-
the coach from CU
Play it.
said, I'll play
It's
it
on
later.
X.
Oh, we'll do it.
Yeah.
We'll play it later.
Someday.
Yeah.
14erboulder.com.
He said that second quarter, the smell of weed is
And
really
she goes
strong.
like this. She goes,
Oh,
is
so-
there anything about Boulder that surprised you when you came here? He said, I did not expect that smell of weed in the second quarter
So just
every game.
So everybody just like kind of is cool
They
for the
light
first
up.
half. And
I
then
don't
is
know.
that a thing?
I have no clue. I've
That's
never heard of it.
interesting.
So I should
Anyways,
bring the leaf
Adam
blower, is
Dunn
what
show
you're
will
saying.
be
I should bring a
selling
leaf blower
t-shirts.
there. Is that what you're saying?
what I do know is I want Adam to tell me about Grove Bags at grovebags.com.
Oh shit! If you are a grower and you aren't using Grove Bags, then you are behind the times because
They're
Grove Bags
wonderful.
are the easiest way to keep your product maintained right between 58 to 62%, right in the sweet spot all the time. As long as you get your weed at that right spot before it goes into the Grove Bags, because you
Right.
cannot magically make your weed
There are tricks.
proper if you don't know how to fucking dry your weed. So it's that.
Yeah,
It's close to
doesn't
perfect.
claim-
It's close to
Yeah.
perfect.
After you get the good
Thanks for
cure.
Look, it
being
says-
so clear about that.
Yeah,
Yes.
those are the best right there. Those bin liners are the shit because they give you just enough
That's
gap.
beautiful.
Because when you put a normal bin liner cover on, it's not quite airtight. But when you have that on there and slide it on, it's like it's almost as good as
Wow.
airtight at that point. But you have your Grove Bags inside the thing with the thing, and now you're fucking
Well,
it's like having a
And
a
remember,
safe in your place,
the only way to get the
moisture
discount
safe.
is to ask for Lance Lambert.
Yeah, and bother him. Make sure he's
yeah.
call constantly,
Yes.
like a lot,
Lance,
Right.
incessantly. Lance.
Lance.
Ask if you can text him.
And then
Yes.
and then mention Adam Dunn's show.
800 Grove Bags.
Grovebags.com.
Make those orders though, please.
Hortitech Direct.
You don't
They
have to
make
buy
a
one of
greenhouse
these.
for any climate. So if you're in Michigan and you're worried about the free air outside being too cold or too hot, they will design a greenhouse for you that will make it absolutely the climate you want inside. We interviewed a grower who used one of their greenhouses. It was minus 70 outside in North Dakota, and it stayed a very balmy 72 degrees inside.
The
So
guy had a
Hortitech,
hammock and he just played like a banjo, ukulele for days.
Yeah.
Oh, it's going on.
HortitechDirect.com.
Turpwipes.com/done deal.
It's an amazing, amazing product. It cleans up everything, and it in fact, you can use it until it's dry. So turpwipes.com
use it.
slash
You
done
have
deal.
to.
Yeah, have
It's
to,
like it's like
yeah.
when you do, you're like I
I'm
can't
like
just
using
use
the corner and
Oh,
then
yeah.
using the other corner, and
cleaning
then
the
finally
table.
at the
And then
end
Turning it
using the
over,
middle. Yeah.
flippity flies.
I
Yeah.
have
It's
to.
like toilet paper, but you're being more
Right,
efficient. You
exactly,
Got that perfect
totally.
flip flop curl twist.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Have
you
you
know.
have you
I make
figured out?
every square count.
Flip flop curl twist.
So-
Every
yeah, it's all
square
over-
counts.
Yeah.
I
Or
will
you're a
use.
dabber, or you're a dabber. Like those are the weird ones. Like
Every
big crunkly dab thing. You're like, what the hell are you doing?
Right,
You gotta
yeah.
Full
Weird.
twist.
Turpwipes.com slash
There's
done
rules.
deal.
Numbnutsco.com gets CBD infused nut butters delivered to your door.
I think we need to find out where they're going to be selling those hemp-derived chocolate and peanut butter bars.
Yeah, those things
They
are
are
good.
fantastic.
They were good.
Yours was in the freezer when you got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine was all nice and frozen up.
Numbnutsco.com.
I almost forgot it.
I
So
did
close.
forget it.
Like,
Done
you
deal
forgot
at
it. and we
later.
almost forgot to put it in there, and I was like, you got to get it in the freezer.
At least that.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
JeromeBaker.com. They're selling that big bong. Did you see that?
I know.
Ah.
I was like, yeah, right. I'm going to spend $3,000 on a bong.
Yeah, it's only 3,000.
That's
I-
only
Did he-
Did he-
$3,000?
Did he put the
It's
price
only
out? I didn't even see that.
Oh, I didn't even see it.
But I'm assuming it's got to be at least
Wait,
that.
has to be
it's
something.
only
For sure.
$3
At
grand?
least.
Remember he announced that a $200,000 bong got stolen
Yeah, I
on the
know. But those were like that big. This one was big, but yeah, I ain't going to have no mellow, yellow, fucking expensive
We'll break
bong
it.
around here. Are you
Baker.com.
crazy?
We'll break it.
Yeah, we got the
We will
Vindicator.
Come on,
definitely
say what
break
you
that.
really mean, Mark.
We have the Vindicator, also made by
I'll
Jerome
break
Baker.
it.
Dave will break
Actually
it.
made by Cowboy.
Yep.
Yeah.
JeromeBaker.com. September's rolling in and seeds here now. The specials are skunky, sweet, and stacked with savings.
He's back.
Breeder of the month, Heavy Days Genetics. Buy one, get one free. Add two to your cart. We'll mark one down. Bold Phenos. Fire flavor. Double the heat. Flavor of the month, skunk. Love it loud and funky. Every skunk strain is 20% off. Roadkill, sweet, and something in between. Skunk's back in style, and we're here for it. Clearance seeds. Buy one, get one free. Clear the vault. Double the stash. Done deal.
What?
Yes.
But it's spelled wrong on this one, anyways.
No.
Ah.
Did you have
'cause
to
it's
say
AI.
that?
It's
Nobody
AI.
can.
Clones.
AI.
More your thing.
That's what happened.
Buy 3, get 1 free, plus free shipping. You pick the fire. We ship it fast. Bonus alert. Buy a pack of strawbercots from Strawbercots? Yeah.
Strawbercots.
Yeah, from Skunk
Strawberry.
House Genetics and get a free pack of Stoner's Delight. Fruity, funky, flawless. Flash sales are flying in all month. Random rare and ready to go.
Is that
Follow-
strawberry and apricot together?
That must be it. Follow, subscribe, and don't blink. Stack your cash this fall at seedsherenow.com. Fresh drops, loud terps, deepest discounts in the game. Seeds Here Now, America's Seed Bank. Get the done deal.
Shout out to James. He's in the States. He's here. He's
Is
hanging
he?
out in Tulsa.
IWantClones.com.
So if he's
Hi,
listening and he
James.
wants to join us over on Patreon, this is
Come
we'd
say
love
hello.
to see what's going down
and get your Colt jacket.
in Okie Town. Get your
Look at that.
Look at that. Look at that. Look at
I
that.
definitely
Look at
feel
that.
like I'm in a cold.
I think
y'all.
one.
Actually, I think we should change what they get. I'm thinking
No, you don't think
a
anything.
photo of Katie.
No.
What? Like,
Yeah, and we're gonna sell a lot of coats.
We're not selling any coats.
this got weird all of a
definitely-
sudden.
Nobody's getting photos
I don't like any of
of
this.
anybody. How about some at
I don't like it,
used
Dave.
underwear? You get a pack. You get Dave's used
You
underwear.
get Dave's underpants.
Yep, Dave's underpants.
Oh, Dave's
His
bathwater.
Spider-Man underpants.
Or
His underoos.
or
Dave's
like
underoos.
jar of fart or something.
Okay,
Ooh, a
Dave.
jar of
fucking
fart?
love
I
you
can
two
sell that.
so
Somebody would
much.
want that?
God
I'll sell
damn.
that.
Dave's
I
fart
love you
jars.
two.
You bet.
You get a free Dave's fart
Yes.
jar.
You two are my
Good stuff.
favorite.
Sounds great. What a bond. What a deal.
Come visit us on Patreon.
We will be over there in a
Come
little
hang
bit,
out.
hanging out,
All right.
hanging in.
Thanks for hanging out with us tonight.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Mark.
Wonderful.
Terry, for coming through. Adam for coming through. Mr. fucking Danko, of course.
Of course, until you scared him away with
Boris
your
can
chicken
come on
wing.
whenever the hell he
With
wants.
your
Boris, you better
duck
come on
ring.
and
Boris,
fucking
come see us.
get us
He will.
get
He
us in
will.
front of the
That person.
that
Feel
guy.
better.
That guy, we can't say his name.
Yeah.
Feel better.
Oh,
Yeah.
Shh,
All right.
don't say it.
I'm
Thank
not
you,
saying
Mark.
anything.
You're
I don't
saying
even
it.
know.
Wasn't
You were gonna say
No,
it.
I don't even know anything's going on.
Oh, I saw
Barack
it.
Obama.
Oh.
No, it's
Yes.
not.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody wants to talk to him.
Good grief.
All right.
We
Thanks for
love
coming
you guys.
back,
Have
Mark.
a
We
wonderful
love you.
weekend.
Peace.
Practically every one of the top 40 records being played on every radio station in the United States is a communication to the children to take a trip, to cop out, to groove. The psychedelic jackets on the record albums have their own.
This is a special question. We don't want you to smoke genetically modified ganja. We want you to smoke the real thing. Want you to smoke the natural herb. Sweet. Some call it marijuana. Sweet. Some call it sesame. Sweet. Some call it lamb's bread. The tea. And some people call it ganja.